This conference will now be recorded.
Probably had to run home for a minute to get his notes. He forgot his notes. Is anybody from the public here? Oh, good. We can just ourselves then for a minute. It's just us. Okay. Are we going off on the air somewhere or something?
Sir, your mic is off.
welcome, etc. Ricardo, may we have the roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. President. Stephen Spina,
Here?
Jody Wilkerson,
Here.
Lance Smith,
Here.
Kenneth Burgess,
Here.
Charles Proctor,
Here.
Mayor Munson,
Here.
William Poe,
Here.
Matthew Maggard.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to, I guess, turn it over to the city manager
Yes, sir.
to get us started.
Okay. So in front of you, there's a packet of, budget questions that came in. And so you have those. Go through them at your leisure. We can go through them this evening as well, if you so choose. So we talked about this last time. Our ad valorem, our anticipated collection is $1.8 billion, or excuse me, our value is $1.8 billion. All right, got a little excited there. 1.8 billion in property value with a proposed millage rate of 6.2375, which is the rollback rate for this year, which was approved as a tentative millage at last council meeting. Gives us an ad valorem revenue of $10,884,982. What you see here is the general fund balance. The anticipated carryover this year, right? Will give us unassigned reserve of $16.4 million. And our assigned will be the 9.147.
Mr. President, could I just ask a question? The carry forward, does that represent unspent dollars from prior years? Tell me what that exactly represents, that 16 million.
It's accumulation from all past years.
Okay. I thought that's what it was. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sorry, I thought he had a longer answer than that.
So the 9 million is the recreation reserve and the city yard complex money that we're holding to finish the two projects.
Council has previously designated those two allotments of funds.
For those two projects.
That's
Zephyr
correct.
Park and the city yard.
And the $5 million is outside our bond issue. That's just what the general fund balance is going to contribute. And the 4.1 traditionally thought of as the nursing home reserve.
Right.
Okay.
And then the 16 million is unbudgeted,
Undesignated,
undesignated, right?
no claims to that
Right.
$16 million.
And that's in addition to the 9.
That's correct. Yes, sir. So a total of 20.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Same trade.
And Ted, and I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, based on our ordinance of the amount of undesignated reserves that we have to have, what is the dollar amount that we have to carry in that red portion of the column?
We should be at 25% of general fund expenditures. So that puts us in the neighborhood of about $5.5 million is what we should carry forward. So we're well in excess of what we try to hit with that 25%.
Okay.
So we're in good shape there.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll talk about this later this evening, sanitation rates, water sewer rates. And at the July 13th, we set the rate for the stormwater fee. And then the final public hearing on that will be September 14th. This talks the millage rate. You can see the breakdown, the 6.25 and then the 6.2375 and what the difference in collection is there.
And that's the $22,000 difference.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And we set it at the rollback rate, so we can go down, but we can't go back up.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so we know.
Correct. You can't go back up without us noticing every taxpayer in the city.
Oh, we don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
right.
To the microphone.
Revenues that we have, we're still, okay. So as of this afternoon, we still do not have the numbers from the state. As I said previously, those typically had come out June. We're now into August and we're still having to estimate those. So the EDR has not released the revenue projections. So finance had to estimate these numbers based on what we've collected over the past several months.
Can you back that up just a second? So I'm looking at the 2027 and you conservatively estimated that most of them were going to be down a little bit, roughly the same, but down just a little bit, right?
Yeah, our indications on the penny for Pasco was a little bit less than what we had budgeted, so we knocked it down a little bit.
Have you seen, and I see down there that the gas tax is going 655 to 619. Have you seen them declining? I mean, is that what you've seen?
Yeah. that's
So
the
it's a gradual decline on that.
That's
one,
correct. Yes,
As
sir.
well as the penny.
Yes.
How long has it, has it been like a 4 or 5 year decline or?
No, I would just say, based on what our budget was, we started to see it, say in the last 6 months, just a little bit of decline.
So those are reactions probably to gas prices and shopping prices that people are spending less. Is that what
Electric
we're thinking?
vehicles,
Hmm?
electric vehicles.
Electric vehicles.
That's a
Could be
small
very well
portion of it.
electric Vehicles for gas tax. Yeah, for sales tax, perhaps a slight slowing of the economy.
Thank you.
Hey, don't laugh. 75% of the cars in China are now are now electric cars.
Yeah, I mean, I know we spoke about it. I don't remember who was in the meeting. We were talking about the gas tax. And as these electric vehicles come on the road and they're not buying gas, they're still impacting our roadways, but they're not paying the gas tax. So that's something that, I mean, we're not going to be able to fix it here, but that is something that's going to have to be looked at in the
Sure.
future as, you know, that part of the car industry grows.
And China builds and sells more electric cars than anybody, including
Tesla.
Tesla. Yeah.
That's true.
Okay, thank you.
This is capital listing. You guys saw this last time. I don't know, are there questions on this? We go into a little bit deeper dive, don't we? No.
Well, we'll be doing that later, won't we? Doing a deeper dive on that.
Okay, if we go through.
I have a question about the library reserve.
Yep.
All right. In the library budget, department budget, it says 28,000 for books, but in the capital, it's 5. So is that a different funding for the
Correct.
23,000?
Correct. There's two different revenue sources. So they have the general fund and then they also have their own little library reserve fund that they get from donations and stuff. So they like to spend some money out of that as extra, you know, for additional books.
Mhm.
So that way they don't have to spend the general fund money.
So you're spending 28,000 in books, but only 5 of it's coming from the capital listing.
So you'll also see library reserves, but then there is,
Don't know that's shown right here. We're spending 33.
yeah, we're spending 33 altogether.
Oh, okay. It's
It's
added
it's
to.
28 and the 5.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And
that
then
library reserves is just that funding
that
source.
funding, and then you're still doing the 28.
Correct.
Okay, all right, good.
Correct.
That's better. Thank you.
Any other
And
questions?
I'd just like to congratulate Peggy. Her department was the highest in satisfaction in the survey, which we'll get onto later, but that was pretty nice.
Well, one of my comments in the budget was that we don't do enough in terms of marketing publicity to let people know of all the great things that our library offers, all the great services our library offers to folks. You didn't have enough in your marketing budget. That's what I thought.
I have an idea for that. Okay.
Oh, shoot.
Here's a question that we've had been kind of ongoing and a little painful at times. As you know, Alice Hall, or excuse me, not Alice Hall, but Zephyr Park, we had a budget for it. We were supposed to have shovels in the ground. We thought we were going to have shovels in the ground last month. We're having issues. The estimated cost came in well over budget. Staff has been sitting with the architect and the construction team to try to get that back within budget and get a start time. We met as late as this morning to create that message, get that out to the citizens, something we should have done back in June. We did not, so we're working on that now. But what you see in front of you, what is in the budget currently is Zephyr Park, right at $19 million, or just over $19 million. How that is broken down is $9 million out of the 2025 bonds, $1 million from the CRA, 2.65 million from state appropriation, 935,000 from ARPA. That is interest dollars that were earned from the ARPA funds that we received that we utilized to build Hercules Park. Park impact fees at just over 1.6 million, and then the recreation reserve or the nursing home funds at just over $4.1 million. That totals $19,300,000. There's also $5 million in the budget for Alice Hall, calling it rehabilitation. And that is actually through bonds. That 5 million is our bond dollars for Alice Hall. We call it rehabilitation. It can be used for park dollars. There is vague enough language that it can be used at the park or for public good. So that's a conversation of what we do with Alice Hall. Is it a rehab? Is it a tear down rebuild? We're still currently over the dollar amount of, still over the $19 million mark at Zephyr Park. So we are working with that. We had a meeting last week to discuss some cuts and some revisions to the plans. So we're hoping to have a meeting maybe at the end of this week, beginning of next week, to go over those cuts and see where the associated dollars land. Any questions?
Yes, so you had a meeting last week. Where are you still at the 8 million? And then
Officially, yes, until they come back, and there were cuts and changes that were made, but until they fully assess them and put dollar amounts to them, the answer is yes.
and the funding source for the $5 million, that's from the bonds that we got for the park and the city yard.
Correct, yes, sir.
And that money's in the budget to be spent, but we don't have any architecture, engineering, design, or even conversation about how the size of the building, where it would go different, if it goes different.
Correct.
So is that basically a holding? You're holding it in place?
Correct. Yes.
Well, from what I just heard, it sounds like they may need it on the parks, what you're saying.
Well, that could be, that is part of the conversation that needs to be had, is how much do we cut from Zephyr Park? And do we transfer dollars from Alice Hall into Zephyr Park to cover those costs? And then that dictates how much we have to cut out of Zephyr Park improvements. And then the question is, do we do a rehab or do we do a tear down? And then the whole conversation, the items that you just mentioned.
Well, I think that we need to revisit the plans for Zephyr Park and scale it back. I mean, when you budget $19 million for a park and you come $8 million over, we don't need a Cadillac or
No.
champagne budget for that. And then do away with Alice Hall. That's the only really public facility we have. I think we scale I was wondering if we do something like phase it in, do the drainage problems first, and then design a something around it that is still nice. But, you know, if you're out there, there's so much open land that you can do a lot there and keep, I mean, $20 million for a park and we still can't do it. I think we just have to revisit the whole idea, the whole concept.
I agree. Because, I mean, honestly, I would think 20 million would get you a pretty good park. You know?
And then if we take the 5 million out, then we're just pushing that project down the road.
Right.
Where we have, as a body, I think, firmly expressed that we want Alice Hall rehabilitated or rebuilt.
Well,
Right.
let me, sorry. If it's when I say take it out, if we do the rehabilitation, if it's rehabilitation that's decided, then that would be included into what we're doing. It's getting Alice Hall rehabilitated. When I say take out that money and put it to Zephyr Park, at a minimum, Alice Hall has to be, I think, has to be rehabilitated.
What do you mean by rehabilitated?
I don't know exactly, to be honest with you. I mean, it could be as simple as, you know, repainting the inside. And it could be to the full extreme of reflooring, you know, redoing the bathrooms. Yeah. So I don't think it's just putting lipstick on it. I think we'd have to do like a true renovation, major reno on it. So, yeah, I was listening and then I heard, if we say we're not rebuilding Alice Hall, then we look at it and say, what is it going to cost to do a renovation that it's a nice building that fits in with the improvements of Zephyr Park? And those dollars would remain in the project.
So can I ask a couple of questions?
Yeah.
So that puts us right back at the point where we have no place to have events in town and things like that if we do something like that. But, you know, the citizens of Zephyr Park, they deserve a community center. We've talked about that for a long time. We are way past the point in our community where we need something for our community and we don't have it. When they came and everybody bid this, what was that dollar amount? When the 6 or 5 people bid this, what was the dollar amount? Was it 16 million at that time?
It was, yeah, the budget was 16 million.
16 million. And then now we're at 19 million. I'm going to tell you, I will be upset if we take the money from Alice Hall and give it to Zephyr Park. You talk to most of the people, they don't even think the park is horrible. They just think it needs some remodeling. So somewhere we've got to break a little bit.
Can I say something? As we're going through this, right now, we're at 65% plans. Part of the reason is, I mean, Shane talked to the engineer from Kimley Horn. We're not expected to get SwiftMud's final determination or a response from them until October 17th, 24th. So when we're talking about it, we're talking about plans that are not completed. And we're not sure what the SwiftMud requirements are going to be. We're saying that it's 19 or that they're at 20 something million without final plans. We are looking at, yes, the designer went a little overboard on some of the design, and I mean, concrete and tile and that kind of stuff that we're pulling out. I'm sorry?
A little overboard?
Well, let me, in their defense, we never give these architects a written program. Here's what we want, X, Y, Z. You know, if you don't give them that, then they're going to design the Taj Mahal.
Yeah, but if I can interject real quick, we gave them a dollar amount. They knew what our budget
Okay,
was.
but a dollar amount is different from what, if you tell them what you want is different from what your dollar amount is. They still design what you tell them you want. And I will also say, it's just timing on our part is that the park flooded.
And all of a sudden, a project that we didn't plan on a lot of stormwater now really becomes a stormwater project with a park attached to it.
That's
And
better
so we're
accurate.
trying to make sure that we don't have flooding, that we're not causing flooding to anybody surrounding the park as we design this. It became more than we started with because of the stormwater, but we are working through it.
Well, that's why I recommended that, or suggested that maybe we do the stormwater first. And then I have a question. If they've only designed 65% of it and they're at 27 or $28 million, what happens with the other 35%?
No, it's fully designed.
It's construction documents. I keep
construction
saying
documents.
design, it's
Yeah, okay.
construction documents. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so all the
I was
elements
gonna
are,
say,
all the elements are laid out, the band shell, the playground equipment, the splash pad, the sidewalks, the bridges, the plantings, that's all laid out. Is the construction plans are at 65% and need to be finalized.
And we're trying to work that back so we get back to 16 million and we figure out how to build this park the best that we possibly can. Because here's, the thing is, we're going to do it once and maybe we'll come back and add some things that the budget will not allow this year, and we budget for it in subsequent years. But this is the park in the city. It's the largest park that we have.
I know, but that's part of, even if you looked at what some people said in the survey that we got for tonight, a lot of people did say it's a beautiful park right now, just a dab and something here and there. So I think that, I wouldn't want us to see us overbuild it. And who knows what'll even be left in terms of some of the open space with the drainage stuff. So, and then we're still kicking Alice Hall Community Center down the
So
road.
can we do this? Can I get Kimley Horn to come back and do a presentation and show you where we are,
Yeah, still workshop.
where everything is located, what we're talking about, how this fits in with stormwater, and really look at Alice Hall, how we're going to do this, and give not only council, but also the public an idea of where we are with Zephyr Park. And that will give us a better idea of how to proceed in the plans of it. I mean, right now we're waiting for Swift Mud to come back and tell us what we need to do for drainage. But we're also working on, the elements of the splash pad, the ninja courses and the playgrounds and how big should they be and those things. So let them come back and really give us some imagery
Yeah.
so that you know what we're talking
And
about.
maybe then we can pick and choose and see,
Yeah,
well,
'cause
maybe we
I-
don't need a ninja cord or this or that, just to pick something, maybe we can, or put that down the road.
Exactly.
But I think that we have to have a firm plan on Alice Hall Community Center.
And I think that Kimley Horn and their engineers and the designers come back and give a presentation, and because I don't think it's the Taj Mahal that we're designing. But you don't know that because you haven't seen the plans. So let's show those plans one more time and where we are and the things that we've taken out.
Okay, but you did say that the designer got a little.
Yes, he did. No
so-
doubt about it. I mean, we were talking about, and I learned this a long time ago, I designed a intersection and we put in every little detail of stars and moons, all this stuff in this intersection. The intersection came back at, I don't know, $1 million at the time. CRA board really wanted that intersection, but unless you're on the third floor looking down at that intersection, you don't see those little stars. You don't see those details. You're walking past it or driving over it. And there are some of those things that are in the park that they did with the sidewalks that I'm like, unless you're, on the third floor, you're not going to notice that. Broom finish concrete is fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about the things that you see eye level, not what you're looking at your feet. So we're taking those out. We're redoing some of those items that don't need to be done, but we'll schedule something for Kimley Horn to come in and give a presentation so that we can all see it.
Well,
Okay.
maybe the next meeting, so we have time to still,
Mhm.
because we might have to have another budget workshop too.
We're going to start telling our design architects half or 3/4 of what our total budget is when they design stuff for us.
So we got to do that with everybody.
But you make a good point, that we tell them what we want, you
And
know.
when we say we want a splash pad, we say we want a half-acre splash pad and we want it to have these elements. Here's some pictures of what I have in mind. And, that level of direction helps manage a process and manage a budget.
Right, but sometimes, I mean, some of the stuff happened with downtown too. I mean, they came back with stuff that would have been, Palm Beach or,
Right.
Miami or somewhere. And, we don't look like Palm Beach or Miami. We don't want that.
No, we want to be the best Zephyrhills that we can be.
Right, and that's maybe a little rustic and a little more land and, things like that.
So we'll come back and we'll give you an idea of where we are,
And a
okay?
nice Alice Hall building,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
right, Mayor?
Absolutely. Well, we've talked about that from the time this project started. And I thought everybody felt the same way, that Alice Hall was supposed to be in this project. And it just kept getting kicked down and kicked down and kicked down. And here we are getting ready to start this. And Alice Hall is nowhere to be found in this project. So that's very disappointing. And it's going to be disappointing
Well,
to the
let me,
community. Listen, the same building, if you
Okay,
keep the
all
same
right.
building.
All
But I'm saying it's not going to be, what we had hoped it would be for the community.
Mr. President, a couple things. One, how much do we spend on the playground equipment we put around at the different parks? Like $1 million, or 2 million?
It was right at 2 million.
That was very well received. I mean, we got very, very good compliments over it. They were very happy something was done. When those guys came in and said, we're 8 million over, I hope somebody said, you're out of your minds.
Something like
Okay,
that.
something close
like
to
that.
that. Not quite
Yeah.
that, but very close to that. But I mean, somebody's got to be riding herd on these guys. They should, when they saw that thing, oh, that's nice. How much does it cost? Well, it's $2 million for this patch pad. You're crazy. Let's do something different. Somebody's got to ride herd on these guys.
And, you look at, what is it, 34 acres, something like that? And what Hercules was 6 acres, something like that? And that was 8 million. So, but that, I mean, and that was some special touches to fit in with the historic, atmosphere of Hercules property and all that. So that kind of is understandable. But I don't think we need much more than what we have there. That's beautiful. And the playground equipment at all these parks, we get raves over. So,
Listen, we have, well, we'll get the plans. I mean, we started off with the splash pad was a custom build, and it has dialed back more toward closer to a pick it out of a magazine type build. The playground equipment, the one playground, like $1.1 million, $1.2 million. It's really cool. I mean, it has like the tin can, tourist theme to it. But those are things I think having a workshop will be good because council can see it. And collectively, you guys can say, yeah, we like it, but we're not doing it. And so I think that's where staff has kind of struggled on some of that, is saying we want this wow factor like what we had when Hercules Park opened. And it feels like, as we go through this and cut, it's like, man, we're cutting some of the cool stuff. But it may have to. And so that's, I think, important to get in front of council. We'll have the workshop, we'll have all the visuals so you can see it. We'll walk through it, and then we'll be able to get to a much better number.
Mr. President, I think what bothers me the most is like the city manager said, they knew how much money we had to spend in the beginning. And they're the ones that designed this. And then it comes in at almost $20 million. You know, they knew what we had, but yet they built it so extravagantly anyway. So, I mean, that's what's most upsetting to me is they knew the money we had to play with and yet it came in so much over.
This is the group out of Georgia, right?
No. this
So
is
it's
Jimmy Horn.
it's the group out of Georgia is the construction company, but I lay fault with the design firm because they knew the budget that we were working with and what they were to design to. They understood what, you know, what our desire was for equipment and amenities there, but they also knew what the dollar constraint was. And what happened was then Reeves Young goes to their subs and gets not really competitive bids, but went out and got, you know, project pricing to give us a real-time price. And that's the number it came back with. And yeah, there were some bodily functions that happened in that room when the price was dropped on the desk. And then we picked our jaws up off the floor and started looking at it and saying, well, why this, why that? You know, why did you design, you know, a $3 million splash pad and two $1 million playground equipment, you know, playground sets, when you know that what our constraint is, you know, build to that or design to that. And so that's what we've been working on for the past 3 months.
Have we
Trying to get that dollar
isolated
back.
what the costs related to the stormwater work is?
You could ask me, off the top of my head, I know there was one fee that was like $1.3 million, and I have the breakdown. It's laying on my desk. That's the one thing I didn't grab tonight. It was like $1.3 million, and I know that they think they can maybe cut that in half because there were some underground vaults and stormwater that they're not going to need to do now. But I want to say the total cost of stormwater was pushing $2 million.
No, and that's something we can't avoid.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, but out of 20 million, that's not much. That's
That's
10%.
10%.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's like pretend we're out buying a car, you know, I want that one with all the fancy stuff and the leather seats and all that, but, oh gee.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take that one. It's got, you know, cloth seat and keep the tires.
Honestly, nobody but us will know. They'll see a new setup there and they'll be like, oh, great, you know, we're our worst critics, probably.
Right.
Mhm.
And honestly, we're trying to, right or wrong, we're trying to outdo what we did at Hercules. Because Hercules did what we wanted them to do, right? We created that wow factor. And then when people come, like how does Zephyrhills have that park? And so we're trying to outdo ourselves at Zephyr Park. And it's what we've said we were going to do. And it's difficult now.
Well, we don't have to outdo ourselves. We can maintain.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Right?
Till another day, speed it up some more.
We'll be back.
All right. I have no idea what that, all right, there we go. So large capital items, library, you can see air conditioner, flooring, police department, police vehicles.
What are Axon?
Axon, those are body cameras, car cameras, our CAD RMS, tasers. So all of the equipment, most of the equipment that officers and dispatch use. Vehicles, CSI, CIS, laser mapping system, training facility. That's an ongoing conversation.
Where was that planned for?
We were looking at the property that is right on North Avenue,
The Tyson,
just
another
to
piece
the,
of Tyson property kind of?
it's on the east side of the church, between the church and the thrift store, I think it is now, that long piece. And then there was some conversation on price. And so our sights got set on a piece closer to the PD. I don't know how to explain where it's kind of to the northeast, north of North Avenue, closer to the PD.
Well, the other piece is
12th
on
Street.
north of North Avenue.
So the piece that I'm talking, so the big piece is here that runs north-south. And then there was a piece kind of that sits over here, kind of behind the thrift store.
Yes.
Right. So directly behind the thrift store.
Not really road access, but it would be, have police access because it bumps up to the police.
Correct. Yes,
And you can come in that back way off 14th Avenue or whatever it is.
correct. Yep. CRA, Clock Plaza renovations, separate part that we've talked about. Land acquisition, that is a placeholder for if properties do become available. Sidewalks, and then the 6th Avenue alley, and that is here.
Mhm. What happened with that piece there, that piece of property that's, anything coming on that? You had talked about that as the, I don't remember what you called it.
Oh, the backyard.
Oh, yeah.
Of the backyard.
Mhm.
We're a home, we are using it. Main Street uses it for events. And now that we've got 8th Street done and we get the 6th Street alley done, we'll connect it to, and we'll talk about this again on the 24th during the CRA meeting.
Streets Department annual street resurfacing, citywide sidewalks and trails, Gateway project, the hot spots, and then the Pretty Pond roundabout.
Let's go back to the Gateway
Mm-hmm.
project. Is that one down by the big, what store they?
That is behind the Dollar General there.
And we're paving their roads?
So-
That came up last meeting.
Yep, that came up at the last meeting. So that is something that we did. We had a conversation with the then property owner 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Gateway. We had a conversation with them 3-4 years ago. To get the road paved, get the project going, to serve as a catalyst on the south end of town. City was offering $500,000. It never, the agreement, we worked through a DA, it never made its way to council. For one reason or another, it sold, the property sold a couple times. The current owner has been, he shows up, he's been in and out, right? He flames up and then decides he's going to take a couple month break. And then the project rears up again, and then he hits the brake. So that's $500,000 towards paving of the streets. My understanding is that will not pay for all of 7th and for B to be paved, but is a portion of it. And staff's idea is that would be a catalyst for that project to take off on the south end of town.
So this money is meant to encourage the development of it as a kind of a lower income housing or anything like that, or affordable housing, I guess is a better way to say it. Or
Do
no?
we know if it's affordable housing on that project? I think it's market rate.
I don't understand why we're hoping to be a catalyst for this project.
It's a project that has sat for vacant land for, well, forever. I think it's
One
never
of
been
our
built on.
goals is to do infill development in the CRA, right? So
Infill development, but then also, the south end of town, our goal is to clean up, the perception is that once you reach that south apex, you're in the city. When in reality, you don't hit the city until C Avenue. So the idea is that this project would take off and kind of clean up that C Ave 301 area, and then it will spread to the south. And then Rodney, part of his plan is to try to do some targeted annexation and revitalization down to the apex area and just clean up that south entrance to town. So yes, it is a catalyst, and yes, it is a for-profit development. But we think as a staff, it's the right thing to do to try to clean up and grow the south end of town.
and right now, it doesn't the Dollar General use that B Avenue for
They can,
In
their
and out.
entrance is on, well, their entrance goes from C to B. It's on both. But the main entrance is on C.
Is this something, Shane, you were going to ask?
Yes, if I could just add to city manager proposed comments, the H Street and B Avenue right now is unimproved. There's a curve there that's privately owned. So part of this project would benefit our road network too and tighten up H Street and B Avenue where we wouldn't have that unimproved section. So it's a benefit to us for our road network.
Do you think maybe you're setting a precedent of some kind? If I have a couple acres somewhere else that I think might be a catalyst for that area, that the city would jump in and assist with that?
If it makes sense, I think we can have the conversation.
Like if we, I mean, I look at some of these infill developments here, and are they actively paving like the alleyways so that their residents can park in the back, like this whole idea of the traditional neighborhood development where you have the development is pushed towards the front of the street and then we have parking in the back. Well, in that situation, we would want to pave the alley. Now, is that, that is for our benefit or is that for the developer's benefit? I think it's probably twofold.
Yeah, this project it is rear loaded. The alleyways are being paved. Go ahead, Rodney.
We turned it off.
Oh, excuse me. Planning Director Rodney Corvo, that is correct, sir. Mr. Poe, the alleys are paved to the rear access units.
Thank you.
Sure.
And they'll have sidewalks and that neighborhood will have sidewalks.
We've been going back and forth, and the final iteration of that is we required them to put the sidewalks. There was a couple streets and blocks that they were concerned because of infrastructure in the right of way. And we were adamant that because of our connectivity requirements and our objectives here in the city is that we've got to have our gridded areas with sidewalks. Absolutely.
Yeah, because if you go back to the CRA, how much did you have in there for sidewalk? I mean, that's been a big project as we go along. So
$1 million
we don't want to then incentivize someone and then not have them have the same.
This project would have 6-foot sidewalks.
That is correct. And the developer will build the sidewalks. The CRA is not funding the sidewalks. The 225 that the CRA has in the budget is for the neighborhood streets.
And this is really a placeholder. The DA, the developer's agreement, would still have to come before council for approval.
All right.
Well, can I clarify? So Shane was talking about 8th Street there, that one little section might be the last little piece of dirt road in the whole town, right?
We have 2 blocks of 7th, 1 block of 8th that connects into B.
And then B, and then, so is that what that 500 is for that?
You're
Correct.
extending the city roads then.
Correct. Yeah. So it would be 7th
You didn't
Street.
say that.
Oh, sorry.
You said you're building roads in a private development.
No, well, all right, sorry. So it is a private development that this funding would be for 7th Street between A Avenue and C Avenue, so 2 blocks. It would be B Avenue from 7th Street to 8th Street, and then a section of 8th Street to tie into B Avenue. So essentially 4 blocks of roadway that would be 7th, B, and 8th.
And that'll come back, so we can.
And that would come
better
back.
Look at that.
Yes, but it will be private development, very much like Butterfield's property that happened here on 7th Street.
Mhm.
Those townhomes, that's the type of development that is being proposed there, but it would be public streets that would be paved, that we would be giving funding towards.
All right, okay, I understand that better.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
And I just close with reiterating what Shane said, as far as getting to set the standard. If the city's putting up the money for this, we're setting the standard to move forward, that we have paved streets and 6-foot sidewalks within the CRA, and then outside the CRA, the standard 5-foot.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Ricardo, please let the record show that the city attorney came at 5:11.
Yes, Mr. President. On this, I mean, that 500,000 is not going to sit there forever. Next year, we're going to need money for other stuff. So I would just let the developer know there's a window of time that this money's going to be available for. I know that won't make any difference because he's looking at the market. He's trying to sell the project. But come this time next year, we're going to need that money for a different project. So, I mean, that's my opinion. I think we're going to be very, very tight on money next year.
Okay, all right, thank you, good point. All right, thank you.
All right, so parks, Zephyr Park,
We've done that.
we beat that one. Stormwater, we had a CAP culvert, that's on the south end of Zephyr Park. Land acquisition, again, a placeholder for any properties that become available. Ninth Ave stormwater improvement, $600,000. That is a combination of state appropriation and penny for Pasco stormwater fund. So 450,000 round numbers here of state appropriation and 150,000 of stormwater fund. We already purchased the property and we've demoed the house. So we're waiting on design. We told them we wanted option 2, and that design will be completed and then submitted to SwiftMud. We're hoping to go out to bid by the end of the calendar year.
Okay, so this funding here, well, for like the street design and some of that, that's basically for engineering and those costs,
Correct.
not hard in the ground stuff.
The
Some
Ninth
are.
Ave stormwater improvements is
Is in-
actually, that is
That's
construction.
in- Yeah. But
The
rest-
7251 16th is designed and the stormwater pump station is designed as well. And then the retention pond fencing would be construction.
Okay. Now, the other day, Bob Winters asked me about C Avenue and Court Street. He said that we were putting stormwater drainage pipes under Court Street or in that vicinity because during Milton, it flooded his property and he'd been told that we're doing drainage improvements in that area.
He was never told that by us, because Portrait's County Road.
I know, but the flooding came from the city, so no.
Not to my knowledge, no, that we don't have plans to do any improvements there at this time.
Okay. You heard that conversation, didn't you, Kevin? Were you paying attention or you blocked?
Good answer.
Huh? At Rotary, yeah.
That dates back to my predecessor.
Oh, I've heard that before.
Yeah, mine too.
All right.
Should have done it then, it would have been done.
Sanitation is a new front load refuse truck, side load truck, and additional roll-off dumpsters.
Pretty cut and dry.
On the water side, the conversion of the ag well, and I know there was a question on that. We have looked at it. For us to pump, I'm looking back here, make sure I get this right. We're allowed to pump, we're permitted to pump we can pump a lot more water. We're permitted to pump 3.38 million gallons on the wells that we have with SwiftMud's approval. To be able to pump the 4.48 and supply the water to all the projects that we have to drill another well and put that in place and get the permitted capacity from SwiftMud.
Okay, now the question I asked was, a couple months ago, Mike Clark was here and with somebody from Michelle. And they gave us like 4 options of that ag well, the business center in Dade City, and 2 different ways of getting it there, from there to here, and one other option. And some were short-term and 2 were long-term. So my question was, and then we were told if we did the long-term, which was like 6 million, I think, that we'd have to not use this well, or couldn't use this well. Is that right? Do I have?
I recall something like that, yes.
So are we going to spend 2.5 million short-term to do this? And then in 2 or 3 years, you're going to come back and say, we need to do something with the Dade City or Pasco County and spend, it could have been up to 10 million because we'd have to buy land. Oh, the other one was to build our own well. So we're going to look up like around Richmond or Richland or that area to build a well or pump it from Dade City and then close that. So instead of paying 10 million for that project, you'll be paying 12.5 million.
No, we wouldn't close the ag well down. We would keep that in service. And that ag well is currently in our permit, which allows us to pump up to 4.48 million gallons a day.
Would it make more sense to do the long-term plan once and be done with it? Or you're going to need that in addition to?
In the future, I don't know exactly how far into the future, we will have to find another water supply.
All right, so you'll end up doing one of those options, a well or the purchase, probably.
Yes, we still haven't decided on which the best direction to go in.
All right, I just don't want to, I want to make sure we're not duplicating and doing something now that in
We're gonna
2
rip
years will
out.
be.
Yeah, that's the concern. And what I've learned sitting in the meetings is that if we put this well in, even if we put, say we go to Enterprise and we put that additional well in, that long-term solution, from the conversations with CJ and John, the idea is that that well would stay in service if for nothing else, if another well went down, we're able to still pump from there and have that redundancy to be able to supply the
So it could be a
capacity.
backup or something.
Correct.
All right, just wanted that
But we're
discussed anyway.
right. No, so we're still looking at that. We haven't gotten the report back.
Okay.
There's some geological drilling or something that needs to be done.
The report back from the city business
No,
center?
from US Water, US Water. Holy cow.
From Mike?
Yeah, from Mike. Last time we talked, they were looking and they were going to,
Let me find out. Let me find out about that and I can get back to you.
okay.
All right. Anybody else have a water question?
I just wanted to, on the well, number 10 building structure, that's basically a pump shed, correct? Right now it's open air, nothing.
Right now, it's a well,
Right.
with nothing around it.
Is that the one on 23rd Street? Or you turn left
Yes.
and there's a little.
Yes,
off
right where
side of the
just
road?
before it turns to dirt or
Right,
lime rock.
it is
Well, I
kind
just
of
want to
weird.
tell you to go ahead and make sure whenever you get to construct that.
It's 250?
Yeah, because you can get a whole lot of house for $750,000 and we're building a pump shed. So just keep that in mind as you go forward on that.
It's almost $150,000 budget.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
Any questions on the water side?
Well, wastewater, did you go through that?
Wastewater, we got the gravity line rehab. We go through all of our lines and line them. As you know, what's flowing through there's pretty corrosive, so it tears up our pipes. Lift station rehab, we try to rehab lift stations 3 to 4 a year. Same thing with the manholes, sludge holding tank, the rehab of that, and then lift station odor control. We're well aware of odor control and the issues at those lift stations. So we're looking at all those.
Odor control, okay.
Odor
Does that
control.
include Water's Edge? or are they
Water's
taken
Edge
care
is
of?
addressed as far as I know right now, or that's
Yes,
what
but that's
this is.
going to replace the unit that's at 37 right now. And that other unit will go to another location.
Capital improvement plan. This is our 5-year plan. So the projects are not listed out, but the dollar amounts are. In the back of your budget book, you have the CIP for the current year and then the 5-year plan that is behind that. So if there's any questions on that, please let me know. This is what we paid for the fire department to Pasco County. This was part of the agreement, as you can see in 2018, when we made the transfer. It was 2.9 million. Last year was 176,000. And then this year is 226. And this is our last payment to Pasco. And it will only be MSTU fees that the citizens pay.
That's great. So that's our last.
This is that will be our last payment. November 1st is the due date on that.
Burn the mortgage on that day or something?
Burn something.
Yeah, burn. That's great. And it's worked out perfect.
It has. It really has. I think it worked out for the employees that transferred. And I think as far as citizens go, they've not seen a drop in service. Actually, Pasco County moved the Crystal Spring Station to Chansey Road. So it brought another station, a third station closer, brought in
They have
ambulances
at both stations, which wasn't the case before. So
Correct.
it's been a real financially and service-wise,
Right.
I think. And it eliminated that you know, if somebody was over at Spanish Trails or like where Clyde lives, they didn't have to wait for them to come from Centennial. They come right from
Right, right from
Dairy
Dairy
Road.
Road. Well, and as we saw, we were going through those hearings, when the citizens came in, they didn't know who
No,
served them.
No.
They just knew it was somebody in blue, and
and they don't care.
it helped them. It was a red truck and, you know, with red lights and
And they came to save them and they were happy.
Right.
Yeah, there was.
so. The personnel request, it's a parks maintenance one, building specialist, and a sanitation worker.
And no engineer.
There's not an engineer in the budget. That is something that I know needs to be discussed. And if it's council's wish, we can put that in there.
But one of my questions had been about some of the projects, on how much of the cost of the projects was the actual engineering. And I think,
So one of them, the one that, it's at the bottom of the one page. It was extending of lines, the extension of lines on Massey and Chansey. Those are done by a company, typically have been done by Killebrew, RCM, Killebrew. And the engineering fees, design fees are wrapped up into the total cost. So they give us a design build contract on that. And so I don't have, until those projects come through, we don't have a price on those. There was I know you had a question. It's on page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The bottom of page 5 it starts with page 68. It's actually the last question. It says page 68, professional services and contractual services, 300,000 and 275,000. And so that is for outside professional services required for planning, engineering, maintenance of the city's wells, distribution system, unexpected services, studies, contractual inspection charges that are not figured into the infrastructure line item. So there are engineering costs in there, but there's also other fees that are come out of that line item as well. And then we do have the PFOA, PFOS, the DEP required testing, and that's about $100,000.
that's $100,000.
Yes, that's what's budgeted.
I'm convinced that an engineer we hire for 115,000 or whatever the salary would be plus benefits would cut down some of all these projects that have engineers in there.
I don't disagree that they could cut down. I think we'd have to look at it and determine what type of engineer that we would want. Is it a utilities engineer? Is it a structural engineer? Is it just a general civil engineer?
And then don't we have an engineer of record?
We do have an engineer of record. Craig Cordioson will sign off a lot of those plans and studies that come in, we send to him, and that is back charged.
Yeah,
What's
he's
that?
in North Carolina.
He's not even local anymore. He doesn't really have his eyes on the projects. He doesn't visit the sites, I don't think, so.
We can change that. I mean, that's who we use. We can change that to
And then a
whoever.
lot of that we get reimbursed for.
Correct.
So
Those,
that would be money coming back to us that wouldn't be going out to start with. That would just be coming to us initially. Yeah, I think that the engineer of record needs to be looked at.
yeah, we can look at who provides that service for us. That is a cost. We receive the bill, we send it to the developer, and the developer pays that.
Right.
I don't know that we could, if we had an engineer on staff, that we could charge.
We could charge
for that.
billable hours or something, couldn't we?
I don't know that answer. I'd have to look at it.
Well, we just look at what percentage of their time is spent on and relating to projects relating to some of the enterprise funds or to development and planning. You know, we charge for planning fees. Maybe we include a stipend for the engineer. But I think one of the things we need to do is maybe talk to another city or two who have on-staff engineers and how their time is utilized, have an understanding of it. We really need kind of a report to understand what kind of engineer we need and what we could expect realistically to spend, or have them say, what potentially could they save the city in terms of professional fees.
All right, does State City still have an engineer?
I don't think that their current public works
I know
director is an
Temple
engineer.
Terrace has two now. I
Yeah.
had one when I was there.
What about
And
Oldsmar?
New-
Oldsmar's
Oldsmar
about the
probably
same,
does, and
they're about the same size as us, yeah.
Newport Richie probably does.
And then, what's the other one? There's one over on the coast that is, Stewart is very similar in size and revenue to our city. They're a little more hoity-toity, but it's worth looking at.
Okay. Yeah. So Newport Richie,
Yeah, we're
Oldsmar,
getting-
Temple
We're
Terrace.
getting hoity-toity, aren't we?
And you said Stewart?
Stewart. I don't know that these people have engineers, but I just know I've done studies in the past to determine who has similar demographics and population and revenues to us.
Since we've been discussing this, I've kind of gone back and forth on it. On one hand, I think it's a really good idea. On the other hand, it's like, well, maybe it doesn't work out. I think getting answers will be helpful, because my concern is that we get an engineer. We have to, first of all, decide, probably going to be civil. I would imagine would be the closest, but we do have to rein in that amount of money that we are putting out to engineering services for sure. I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way, because I'm a little concerned that in a city our size, what we'll be able to afford to pay someone like that. We're either going to get somebody that's kind of at the end of their career and just wants to kind of scale back a little bit, or you're going to get people that are at the beginning of their career that can be constantly leaving and will be changing engineers all the time. So, I mean, like I said, I see the benefits and the detriments on both of them. And I think a little more information will help
I can
make a
tell you
decision.
the one in Temple Terrace is still there. It was a young person. He was a military veteran, actually, and he's been there about 7 or 8 years.
I mean, that'd be great if we
Young
can
guy.
get someone like that for
And
sure.
then after, I think they've hired an assistant. The other thing is in terms of some consulting and engineering and things, which I'll get into during the council meeting, but I went to the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council meeting this morning, and they have a lot of services that we can use through them with engineers, with consultants and experts in the field. I mean, they did a unbelievable presentation today on data centers.
Mhm.
And so that, I mean, they have all kinds of information, and we can utilize them. You don't have to often go out to bid, and they're less expensive. And they know what, what Oldsmar is doing, or what Safety Harbor is doing, or different things. So they're not recreating the wheel all the time there. So that's another thing that we should really be looking at in the future.
Well,
And they're going to assign us a, what do they call it? Liaison to work with us on different things.
And Mr. President, one other thing is that even if this engineer doesn't actually do all the work themselves, to have an engineer to write a work letter so that we make sure that we're not over designing something, or that we're not paying for design that we don't need. So one of the things, a perfect example is if we'd had an on-staff architect who had experience doing parks, they would say, here's what our scope is, here's exactly what we want you to do, and we want you to base your fees on that. And so that's the same thing with engineering, is that we're not going to the engineering saying, what can you imagine we might need for this? You say, here's what we're going to pay for. So it becomes more of that person works, the consultants actually work for that.
Yeah, they help set the parameters for us.
And that in itself can save us that professional's
I really think it would be
cost,
a benefit to us.
but I think we need to probably look at what our
But you can come baback for more information on
Yeah.
that then to us.
what our budget will sustain for the next few years, because I'm like Lance, I think we're going to have some reduction in revenue.
I didn't get the purple memo. Everybody's got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Neither did I.
All right, Billy, let in the in crowd.
All right, so I think this is probably the reason that 95% of the audience is here today. So pay increases, as I've spoken to each of you, what's currently in the budget, obviously what the salary study said, but the minimum is 5% is what is in the budget. What you see in front of you is for each 1% On the general fund side, it's roughly a $50,000 cost. CRA, 709, utility fund, just over 15,000, airport, just over 3,500, sanitation, just over 5, and stormwater would be just over 1,700. So a 1% raise across all funds would be roughly a $77,000 impact. So the total.
80 times 5 would be about
400.
400,000 total.
Correct.
So we're offering 5%.
Well, can I ask one question?
Yeah,
before?
sure.
Now explain to us how the salary survey that we haven't approved yet fits into this and what raises are in there.
So all of the raises that were in the salary study are already are accounted for in the budget. Typically what you would see on a 1% would be higher than the $77,000 for total budget. But because there are individuals based on that salary study that are getting more than 5%, it lowers this number here. It's an inverse relationship between increasing the lower number and what the total impact is. I can't tell you that I fully understand the math on it, but when Nancy was explaining it, I understood what she was saying.
So you're saying that in the draft we have, there's a 5% budget increase, a proposed 5% budget
Correct.
increase, and the salary survey information was already implemented,
Correct. That
even
is
though
shown
it
in
hasn't
there.
been approved by city council.
Correct. But we put it in here so that we could present like a placeholder that, yes, it works with
So
everything that's presented to
Then my
you.
question is, how many people are getting, if they get a 5% and they've already gotten an increase from the salary study, what are those increases equal and how many people are realizing those?
I would have to bring that information back to you. I don't have that number off the top of my head.
So are you saying that we get that and?
Yeah, well, it's already in here. So they're getting that automatically.
Wait,
even though
wait,
it
well-
hasn't been approved.
What was it? I'm sorry. Let
They're
me
not
make sure.
stacked- they're not stacked on top of each other. If somebody's getting 5% in the salary study,
Then they
they're
would,
not getting the 5% on top of that.
correct,
Oh,
correct.
okay.
It would be they would get a minimum of 5% or what the salary study said that they were supposed to get.
minimum.
A minimum,
That's
yes.
what I was.
So if
But
we
that
were
doesn't
to,
bring them, that
Sorry.
doesn't keep them, if you have compression and you're limiting that to the 5% of what, say they get in the survey, and then other people are getting 5%, that's not going to address the compression, is it?
yeah, I can give you the impacts and we have those. If you were to give 3%, the impact of the salary study would be higher. If you give 5%, the impact of the study is lower because you're giving all employees a higher percentage and then the salary study stacks on top of that.
So it's on top.
It's on
Study
top
shows
of
some
it,
of them
but
are
it's
less.
But yeah,
like if
that's
I get,
what I mean.
if you're supposed to get 7%
From
we-
the
and
salary study.
from the salary study, the city gives 5%, then you get another 2 to make you whole. Am I saying that
So-
correct?
Oh,
All right, so if I make, the salary survey says I should get 7% raise.
Mhm.
And the city's going to give me 5.
Mhm.
So then I'm going to just get 2 more?
Correct. So you would get 7%.
So the other employee, to avoid the compression, who gets 5, is moved up, but not to the new boundary here.
Yeah, push the button.
Sandra Emerson, HR Risk Management Director. So the study is already going to address the compression already within the positions. So that you don't have to worry about the extra 5%, 3%, or whatever you choose will end up being an addition, yes, but the number will be provided prior to the actual study. I know it's kind of backwards, but you're going to be, in essence, spending more if you do it the opposite way. And I think the way that, most salary studies are already addressing the compression for the people who are already in it. So they're already in that position and they're not going to allow somebody coming in, obviously make more than the person that's been already there for however many years. So you don't have to worry about that at all.
And the good thing is the study that we did 2.5 years ago really addressed the compression issue that we had. So that really was addressed. There wasn't a lot
Right.
of compression in this study.
Right,
And
but there
correct,
was-
we didn't have a lot of compression this year or this time.
There was some, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't
Well,
as drastic as.
If I remember correctly, some of the police lieutenants weren't in the salary survey.
It was part of the salary study, but they actually pulled them out of the pay grades and created a new pay grade basically just for them.
So, because that had been a problem, compression of lieutenants and
Correct.
sergeants.
And that's why they
Correct.
did that this time
All
around.
right, okay, so you really confused me.
Sorry.
So the salary survey's in here. And you don't remember how many employees are affected or?
I can't remember off the top of my head. I
Because
have it.
if we do it, because of the percentage that council decides to give as the minimum changes the number of people that are impacted by the salary study. So one of them had, I think it was 37 people would be impacted by the study based on, I think if it was 5%, but I don't want to tell you those numbers because I don't know
But
which
some
ones are
people should
accurate.
have gotten 3% or some people should have gotten
Mhm.
5% or
Correct.
7%.
Based on the study alone, yes.
Right, so if I'm to get 3%, I'm going to get 3%, then I'll get the 5%.
Yeah, you would just get
3 and
5.
2.
Yeah, you would just get the 5. You
3
get
plus
total.
2.
Correct, correct.
Get the 3% from the salary study, then
Mhm.
2% gets the, or 5 or whatever we
Right.
come up with.
Right.
Right. Okay. We can walk through it later. I'm sorry, and I apologize. I don't have the numbers
Do
today.
you know, like, the amount, the salary study, what the total cost of the salary study
Mhm.
is?
Not on me today, but yes, I
It
think it was in the prior show where
It's in
Nancy,
the minutes, it'll be in our
yeah, and I
minutes.
think Nancy provided
read
the
those.
total number.
Hmm?
Yeah, we have the
This is
total
something shut
dollar amount. I don't have that with me.
I did, I'm sorry.
That's all right, just whenever.
Oh, wait, oh, God, it's past that. Right,
But the bottom line is, everybody's going to get at least a 5% increase in their pay, correct?
If council approves what's
If
in the
it approves
budget,
this.
yes.
And then some people may get more because based on a salary study shows that they should be getting more. And like I said,
Correct.
it may be 7%. But
Correct.
that happens every time we do a salary study anyways.
Correct. I think the highest, there was 1 or 2 positions that were really low, and it was a 17% increase, and that I think was two employees, maybe 3, that would be impacted by that. And they were employees that were on the lower end or the starting end of the pay scale.
the salary survey was at the last meeting, it was the meeting before, so it's not in this meeting. these minutes.
So have we seen that?
Yeah, we
Has
saw
any
it.
of us seen it?
Yeah,
You saw it?
two-
Okay,
2 meetings ago.
okay, when I wasn't
So
here.
we could look up the meetings from July 13th, I think, and we have the meetings here from July 27th.
And we can get the study, we can, again, we can,
Right, we'll revisit that before, but yeah, we did get that. It was just the meeting.
it was 2 meetings ago.
They're in here, but we have to look for it. We're running out of time. so.
Well, that being said, I just don't think 5% is enough, quite honestly, with the inflation and all, price of food and price of gas. Personally, I'd like to see a 7% across the board, but I mean, I know that's tough, but I don't know if what anyone else thinks about it, but, or somewhere in between. What would a 2% more, what would 7% cost the city versus what the 5% is?
It's at 154,000. Yeah, 154,000 across the board for an additional 2%. It may go down a little bit because of the salary study, so it's not a direct, but about $154,000.
So here's one of my thoughts is, whatever we decide, it's there. You can't take it back. Okay. We don't know what's ahead of us in
Yeah,
the
we
next
do.
year.
Yes, we do know.
We
what's
do
ahead
know
of us.
what's ahead of
Yes,
us.
we do.
And so would people be
$5 million
happier to
less a
take
year.
5% than in a year from now lose a job?
That's exactly.
That
what I
is
was gonna get at.
exactly where we have to look at this. logically and fiscally, we have to be fiscally responsible. And I would think as an employee, I would be happier to get a 5% raise and know that my job's going to be here in a year, 2 years. But that's just me personal.
I actually have a tendency to agree with you, Mayor, because that, nothing worse than having to tell somebody, you know, who's going to lose their job. I mean, I think in what's looming in front of us, to get 5% in the budget as it is, I think it was a pretty good accomplishment by the city staff to begin with. And because we don't, you know, there's a lot of unrealized things in front of us. And that's the last thing I would want to do, is have somebody called in and tell them they don't have a job because it didn't work out.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm leaning to, you know, more on caution, but I think maybe if we had actual numbers on the number of employees impacted by the salary survey and how that impacted it. You have it now?
I have it. So with a 5% COLA, 19 employees would be below the minimum of the new pay ranges. That increase would be $23,173. There'd be 0 employees above the max. 57 employees would receive compression. So that would cost $141,780. There'd be 70 employees impacted by the study. The total, or the COLA total cost is $387,111. Total financial impact, including benefits to implement, is $734,659.
So the total cost of everybody with this
With a 5%.
5%, the increase is $740,000.
$735.
Mr. President, and my question would be, knowing what we have coming next year and the year after that, is the general fund able to handle that? Because it's in perpetuity.
Absolutely.
And then,
Question is,
so if you did 7%, it would be 150 more, you said?
yes,
So that would be $885,000, almost $1 million.
Correct.
$900,000.
correct.
And then 6% would be half of that, so that would be
Be right
right
at
at
8.
800,000 roughly.
Mhm.
And that's across all the funds. So some of it's utility, some of it's airport, some of it's sanitation.
Yeah, so what you see on there is the regular print, the non-bolded numbers. The general fund, it would be $50,000 or $50,580 per 1%,
So
which is our largest fund.
times 6 would be 300,000.
Correct.
And then, because utility, airport, and sanitation really aren't going to be impacted by the
Ad
sales
valorem
tax
loss.
question. The ad
Yeah.
valorem.
Shouldn't be.
It shouldn't
We
be.
might try and find a way to get
It should
this
not
money
be.
over that.
So I will say, I'm not going to argue for higher amount. That's y'all's discussion. What I will say is, we know the Amendment 3 is on the ballot. We have our opinions if it's going to pass or not pass. What I can tell you is that as a staff, I've been working with finance, and we've been looking at what those impacts could be and how do we plan and address those, restrictions that we're going to see. I think we sit in a pretty good seat. I think we're in a different spot than a lot of cities in the state, and the fact that we have manufacturing, industries coming in with Baduco, with MyTech, and I know we're giving them tax incentives, but they will be bringing in tax revenue. We have Monin that should be breaking ground soon. And then, we have some other options that we've looked at and discussed, money saving options that do not include cutting positions. But, obviously that is always an option. It's a last resort option, but we think that we could be in a pretty good seat. I shouldn't say we're in a good seat. We're in a better seat than other municipalities because of what we have going on in the community.
But we just did a $30 million bond. You got that in there too, right?
That is in there.
That's the,
And that's a $2 million a year payment.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
2 million. Yes, yeah.
Right, so the 5% would cost totally about 735. The 6% would cost about 800,000. These are rough numbers. And the 7% would cost about 885.
Correct. I would, and listen, I'm a beneficiary of this, right? So I would really appreciate 7%. I know staff would as well. Being where we are, I would ask that you don't consider 7, consider 6, but 7, I would say, let's see where we are next year
Well,
and give us some wiggle room.
What's the difference
For that.
between 5 and 6?
$75,000 roughly.
77, basically.
77, and then, yeah, it's 810 really. I added wrong. 810,000.
About $77,000.
About $77,000.
Yeah, for total
Right,
budget.
but everything else is, I mean, you gave us a balanced draft.
Correct.
Obviously. And we haven't really gone through a lot in terms of tweaking or, I wanted to talk to you about, one of the things in the administration was 220,000 for publicity.
Correct.
That seems a little high to me. And you did that this year, 200,000. And so far you've only spent about 50,000. Is that right? You said?
Yes. Yes. So we increased it, real quick, we increased it because we have Ridge League of Cities coming in. We're hosting the February meeting. And so we increased it by 20. The idea was to spend a lot more. The idea was to try to get some live music down at different events downtown.
At Main Street? What?
At-
Well, maybe
yeah.
Main Street can do a fundraiser and raise money for a band downtown.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, that is an easy place to cut some funds.
but I
or
would
some
like to, I
expenditures.
mean, I would say, so if you have 225 in there, I'd like to see it maybe at 125. Keep the extra for the League of Cities thing, which, and then,
Well, that's Ridge League, not League of Cities.
right.
Okay, all right, just making sure.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
All right.
That would cover your to 6%.
That would
Yeah.
cover the 6%. That
cover
would
the
give up,
6%.
that would give money
We're close to.
this year, a little more this year.
That's that's.
Well, that would cover it because that's general fund dollars. So to the general fund, it's
Oh, gotcha.
$50,000. So if we cut 100 out of there, that would cover that.
Do you
1%,
feel that
50.
these,
50, a 6% raise for general fund is 300,000.
Correct, but remember 5% of that's already in the budget.
Oh, okay.
So we would
Right,
only
all
be-
right. So
we'd
we're,
only
yeah,
need-
we're not coming up with all, the whole amount. You already have it. in
Correct,
there.
yes,
All
sir.
right, okay, I understand.
I just,
Sounds like we can get to 6% without a lot of,
do you feel that would risk
Well,
any
for
jobs?
this year, I
for
mean,
this year, you can't.
you don't know what'll happen next year, but
and then maybe do we handle it with budget or with bonuses instead, like a one-time payment? Because now we have the money, but next year and the year after that, and year after that. So we could get them to 6% with a bonus and
Yeah, we can do that. I know, talking with Nancy, that was one of the conversations we had is what are other municipalities doing? And what she had told us was the trend was to give as little as possible this year. And then towards the end of the study being completed, the trend was going to where municipalities were giving as much as they could this year because they don't know they may not be able to give anything next year or the year after. It was like, okay, get the employees what we can this year. And then, it may be zero the next couple of years. That's very similar to what happened in 07, 08,
Oh, yeah, 2000.
like 12. So
we have 2 minutes. You have no money budgeted for FEMA reimbursements. We had asked that attorney group to go after the FEMA money. Is that coming?
Yep. So we have no monies budgeted for FEMA reimbursement because we don't know what's coming in. We are still fighting that. we're still appealing that and going down that road. We've also reached out to Congresswoman, no,
Morley.
who just got switched to us. I'm sorry. We had yeah, we reached out to the Congress and I can't remember who our rep is right now.
It's Laura Lee.
It's switching. Is it still?
No, it isn't. It's still-
We had a new aide come in.
Well, you have a new aide.
She has to wait.
That's not switching the contract.
Yeah.
Until at least till
Yeah.
November.
Well, they haven't changed the districts yet.
Anyhow, we're reaching, they're trying to give us, so we did not put FEMA reimbursement in there because we don't know that it's not guaranteed that we're going to receive it. So we left it at 0. Should we receive the funding, we can then do a budget amendment to put it into the budget. But we didn't put it in there.
That makes me nervous after we hired that consultant and then we hired an attorney.
I mean, we can put it in the budget, but
Well,
if
I'm
we
just
don't
saying,
get it, then.
It just makes me nervous that we're looking at a 0 right now. Okay.
And I mean, well, here's the other thing is we could receive it before October 1st,
All right. The other thing is,
possibly. I know it's highly unlikely.
in the building department, their expenses total $1,027,000.
Correct.
You responded to me that expenses are higher than revenues by 200,000. Didn't the state pass that law that the building department has to be treated as an enterprise fund and bring in the revenues to pay all the expenses?
Your revenues cannot exceed your expenses. Your revenues cannot exceed your expenses, but your expenses are allowed to exceed your revenues. And over a 5-year period of time or a
That
4-year.
makes no sense.
Well, you
can spend more than you bring in.
You can spend more than you can bring in building inspections and code enforcement, but you can't use it as a moneymaker.
So you can subsidize it through the general fund, but the building department cannot subsidize other departments or other funds.
All right, so we can't rip off developers and builders.
Right.
Yeah.
But they can rip up.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it's, what the,
All
yeah.
right. I thought it had to be, I thought it had to balance like an enterprise.
So it does, because there's general fund dollars that are used to balance that. Now that's every year we will look at that and see what our expenses are and how we need to tweak our permit fees.
Okay,
Didn't we say we would look at it every 6 months?
yeah, we're
I
gonna
mean,
look at it the first 6 months.
I don't think, I think we better look at that thing really hard a lot.
I think that we have it in the ordinances every year. I think every October 1st, I think it is,
So we can look at it here in a couple months.
that we can readjust the fees.
But I'm just afraid that it's slowing down. We base it on past history, which that's a backward way to do it, but that's the way we have to do it, right? And we get there halfway through the year and find we've collected a quarter of what we thought we were going to. So I don't, if we can look at it, but more, I would like to do that. So, because I don't want to, I mean, general fund's going to be hurting anyway. There's no need to tax it even more, so.
Okay, all right. Do you have anything else?
No.
We're gonna have another budget meeting, I guess.
We're gonna have to.
Yeah, we're gonna have.
Whatever council decides, yeah, staff's here.
All right, let's talk about it during the meeting.
Okay.
Is there anybody in the audience wanted to say anything for the budget workshop meeting? Any comments, public comments? Any council, commissioner, council member comment? No?
How many minutes we got?
We have, how many minutes do you want?
5,
7
I
minutes?
just need a minute to.
7 minutes. We'll meet back here at 6:10. Hey, Jessica, thank you. Thank you. I think I got all mine, pretty much. I haven't had a chance to read it all, but it should be. Well, yeah, a lot of them were different, you know, I saw them, but I didn't understand why some were like here and then there.
Spend everything on the general fund and then just do one giant transfer at the end of the year and move money around from all the other funds. So what we started doing is like, we kind of take the funds that are on track.
Yeah.
And then we just spend out of there so that way, you know, it's money in, money out, money in, money out, and you're not sidetracking.
I saw him the other day and he was really friendly. So.
Well, you're still in the area?
Yeah, he's still in the area. And then I saw Kristen, who worked with CLA. Remember her? She had the silver hair. Yeah, yeah. She was at the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Council meeting tonight. She said, "You're Steve from Zephyrhills, right?" And I said, "Yeah, and I know you, but I can't remember where." And she just had blonde hair. But anyway.
Yeah, we're just trying to make sure that it looks a little cleaner. But yeah, all the different funds.
Yeah.
I have to follow along.
Right. Yeah, I just was. All right, good. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right. Microphone. Good evening. Welcome to the regular city council meeting of Monday, August 10th, 2026. We started a little late because of our workshop. Thank you for bearing with us. Ricardo, may we have the roll call, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Steven Spina,
Here.
Jody Wilkerson,
Here.
Lance Smith,
Here.
Kenneth Burgess,
Here.
Charles Proctor,
Here.
Mayor Munson,
Here.
William Poe,
Here.
Matthew Maggard.
Here.
Thank you. We'll have the invocation this evening from Brandon Bristow of the Miracle Temple Community Church, and followed by the pledge. Thank you, Brandon.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this day, Lord. We thank you for the blessings of life. Father God, we thank you for the blessings of liberty, Lord, that we enjoy these freedoms that we enjoy in this country every day. We thank you, Lord, for the men and women who have fought and died bravely for our freedoms, Lord. Father God, I ask for wisdom, guidance as our staff and our leaders of this city lead and guide us. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the men and women who represent this city. Father God, lead and guide them. Give them the wisdom that they need in order to lead and guide us, Father. Lord, we thank you and we praise you. As in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Very nice. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Look at you. Good job.
Thank you for that invocation, Brandon.
Very nice, Brandon. Thank you.
Is there anyone here who would like to speak to council on any items that are not on the agenda this evening? Nick?
I do. There's two individuals signed up.
Oh, okay.
So first I have Nick Walton.
That was a big agenda. I'll try to keep it brief.
Good evening.
Afternoon, Nick Walton, 304 West Hyatt Street, Tampa, Florida, 33603. I put a note into the city council's mailboxes. I'm not sure if you guys got it, but I just want to read that out loud for everyone in the audience and to make sure you got the information. The Sarah Vandenberg Tennis Foundation would like to be considered for program subsidies to Zephyrhills residents in the amount of $30,000 to cover out-of-school time youth development programs at 3 local schools, Stewart, Woodland, and West, for 120 students, and Summer Rec 2027 programs offering for an additional 90 students, bringing Summer Rec's total students served to 240. SVB Foundation is super grateful for last year's support, which we spent on 5 successful school programs at Stewart, Woodland, and West, serving 122 students, and a very successful Summer Rec expansion. The Summer Rec expanded from 120 to about 155 students. It included middle school and high school students for the first time in years who would have otherwise been aged out. And we had 60 plus students complete our tennis curriculum as part of the Summer Rec program. But we also packed any and all open courts at the Marataglu Tennis Academy. There were open courts left and right, and we filled them with kids from the community. This summer's rec program is proof to the city and its residents that the center is open to the community and willing to open its doors for residents in need. It was a real partnership between the city, the center, and SVB Foundation. The summer rec program filled groups A and B, 120 students within hours. Our newest offering, group C, 32 students, filled in less than 10 minutes. SVB Tennis Foundation would like to join forces with the city of Zephyrhills to remove all wait lists by summer 2030. We've begun the process with Group C, and next year we'd like to continue by providing an additional 5-week opportunity for summer rec following the initial 5-week program. According to the city's contract with the center, 10 weeks of the facility are at the city's disposal for summer rec. If we're not running programs there, if the SVB Foundation is not running programs there, the center and its courts may sit empty and dozens, if not hundreds of local kids will miss the opportunity for our life-changing programs. In addition to our summer rec expansion, we're running 2 programs at West and 2 programs at Woodland for the school year. I want to let you guys know also, and my time's almost up, we're not just coming to you asking for money every year. We got a grant from the Community Foundation of Tampa Bay for $20,000. We get money from the USDA Foundation in excess of $30,000 every year. We have local sponsors coming in. We have new businesses who are supporting. So I don't want you to think that I'm coming asking you guys for a handout to make our programs happen. We are a sustainable program, and the growth will be supported by you guys, and it will only go to Zephyrhills residents when you support us. Any questions?
Well, thank you for coming to us, and I appreciate the numbers, man. Those are great, the number of children and students that you're involving in the programs. That was the whole idea of the center and the foundation. I think last year we gave you $15,000?
Or 20.
20,
Yeah.
last year, okay. So we had a budget workshop today. I don't think we can commit right now. We're going to have another meeting probably later this month, and we'll try to work with you that way. Anybody else have?
Well, Mr. President, I would just like to say that, you know, this is a great organization. You're a good steward of the foundation funds. I think that if anything, these are the kind of things that our community needs to be donating, that our city needs to be donating to, because this is really impacting those kids who need the help the most, I think. So.
And I have another idea for fundraising for you. I copied an article out of a paper. I just haven't got to forwarding it to you yet, but we'll be back in touch with you, and we'll let you know when the next workshop is.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for that information. Who was next?
Mr. James Thornton,
I guess I
sir? Mr. Thornton?
forgot to ask everybody to turn off their phones.
Press the rectangle button.
1 second, sir. 1 second, Jane.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you.
I've been a member in the city for 26 years. I'm handicapped, and I've been to Walmart handicap parking, and it's a federal law, handicap parking is. I've sat there, looked for spots to park where I'm able to get to the doors and stuff. I had an officer come out because there was a guy there who was parked, no placards at all. Officer showed up, ran the plate, came back and said, he's handicapped. I said, okay. He happened to come out of the store at the time. The officer said, is this your car? He said, yes. Where's your handicap placard? Oh, it got stolen. The law says it's supposed to be displayed. If you don't have one to display, you get a ticket. It's that simple. Oh, I'm not going to write him a ticket. What do you mean? That's city funding. You know, he's breaking the law.
Yes. All right. Thank you. We'll have our, appreciate you bringing that to our attention, and I'll ask the chief to comment.
Excuse me, 1 second.
Okay.
We appreciate him bringing it up. This is Derek Brewer, Police Chief, City of Zephyrhills. Unfortunately, when we're talking about traffic infractions or anything statute related, as far as whether it be a parking ticket or whether it be through uniform traffic citation, that's an officer discretion decision. And I would kind of lean towards the officer's decision not to, considering the fact that he had a handicap placard stolen from him. He hasn't had it renewed or replicated in order to hang it. I'm sure that the statute probably says it must be hung. But again, that's officer discretion, not to whether to write that ticket or not. So.
But he did verify that the
That
gentleman had a.
That he does, correct.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Also, DMV gives those out for free if you haven't stolen. So
Right.
they don't cost nothing.
Right.
Excuse me, thank you. You know, I have noticed that Walmart, the shopping.
It's terrible.
Well, the parking spaces are limited in those areas. Unfortunately, they've they've met the requirement of code, which is 2% of
Right.
whatever the gross leasable area is. That's
Right.
what the code says that they're required to have. But clearly people in our community, there's a greater percentage that's over 65 and some portion of those folks are handicapped. And so it's really something that's outside the city's hands, but it's a really valid issue and perhaps something you could bring up with them.
Yeah. The other thing that I was going to speak about is the traffic situation that we have in this city. It's getting ridiculous because all the building we're building, but we're not doing infrastructure to the roads.
Well, we did have a budget workshop earlier today, and we've budgeted quite a bit of money. We're doing a lot of the roads that you're mentioning are actually outside our jurisdiction. They're either a county road or a state road. And what we're doing is we're implementing a program where we're going to try to do some turn lanes and other improvements at certain intersections to help hopefully improve traffic. We work with the state and the county on road improvements constantly. Our staff does. And as you probably are aware, we've had a moratorium on new building for 2 years. So we can't control what's built around us, but we are trying to balance the growth with the infrastructure.
Yeah, they rebuilt that intersection at 301 and Chansey. The county did, I guess. They did a terrible job. They've had more accidents there than I can shake a stick at.
We'll do better. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
I have one more. Mr. Rafael Trenzado, sorry.
Good evening. Buenas noches.
Buenas tardes. I understand English, but it's more good for me explain in Spanish.
Okay.
I have only 3 minutes.
All right. So
sorry.
Eileen, you're going to translate for us? All right. Thank you.
Yo soy propietario de una propiedad que está como a 4 calles de acá, en la séptima avenida, es la 38114, séptima avenida, Zephyrhills. Hace 4 años.
Yeah.
He's a homeowner of a property on 7th Avenue for about 2 years now.
Okay.
Hace 4 años yo tengo esta propiedad y siempre que vienen los tiempos de ahora, como está lloviendo mucho, tengo el problema que se me mete el agua dentro de la propiedad. Es una propiedad que está en una zona de flooding, pero yo entiendo que cuando vienen los huracanes se pueda meter el agua, pero cada vez que vienen estos tiempos de agua, toda la calle se inunda y he venido muchas veces a la ciudad.
Un momento.
Okay.
Help us understand. Yes.
He says he understands that the property is in a flood zone, but on regular
Storms.
flows of rain like we've had recently has caused an excessive amount of water flowing down his driveway into the house.
Okay. Can you tell me your address again?
38114 7th Avenue.
Okay, thank you.
And is this a home or is it an office business?
It's a house. It's a residential
It is a
home,
residence. Thank
yes.
you.
Entonces he venido algunas veces acá en la ciudad de Zephyrhills y lo que me dicen es que van a tratar de arreglarlo, han ido, yo he colaborado, ellos me han dicho que haga ciertas cosas, pero es que nada resuelve el problema y necesito que me ayuden con esto, la verdad. Todos los años, desde hace 4 años que vienen estos tiempos, pasa lo mismo. Y
He's followed some recommendations by the city, but he doesn't feel that it's enough to help his problem.
Okay. Billy, can we go out there and look and see if we can do something. I understand what you're talking about because of the heavy rains we've had recently. A couple of these storms have been really forceful and a lot of rain.
I was verifying that we had that, I apologize, Mr. Raphael. I didn't catch the last name. But that we had his contact information and we'll reach out to him this week to go out and take a look at it.
Ok. ¿Puedo agregar algo más?
You have the phone number here?
Ajá.
Okay.
I have information
All right.
here. Yo lo que pienso, como he visto lo que pasa, al lado de la propiedad hay como un embalse de agua que hizo la ciudad, pero parece que esto no es suficiente. Cuando llueve nada más por 20 minutos, todo se llena de agua y el agua no tiene para dónde correr. Si pueden poner una bomba o algo de automática de agua que bombee y saque el agua mientras automáticamente se está llenando, yo pienso que se resolvería un poco la situación.
He is suggesting that a water pump be placed in between his property and the retention pond that is there to help redirect the excessive water into the retention pond.
Okay. So what cross street is he near? You got it?
Yeah, I know where it is.
All right. They know where
Yeah,
it
so
is.
it's adjacent to an existing city pond. It's what, I think 3rd Street, between 3rd and 4th Street, or 4th and 5th. No, 3rd and 4th.
It's, yes, Shane LeBlanc, Public Works Director. It's 3rd Street and 7th Ave, I believe. I was out looking at it today. We're very well of the site. It's adjacent to our retention pond that we have there that we'll go out there and make sure that the pipes are clear and do what we can to try to help them out. But that property has a history of flooding, unfortunately.
Boy, okay. Right. Mr. Raphael, our staff will go out and help you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Gracias.
Thank you, Eileen. I actually understood some of that. Yeah. Well, I heard mucho and agua. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Anyone else?
No, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. Okay, mayor's report.
We're going to have Mr. Rocky come on up, meet me right up here. This is always the best part of my job, is when we get to recognize people that are doing great things in our community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Whereas this is a proclamation that we're giving to you. Proclamations are kind of our way of thanking you for your service. It's not something that we just freely give out. So this is a very good thing.
Thank you.
Whereas the city of Zephyrhills takes great pride in recognizing individuals whose generosity and compassion make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. And whereas Rocky Castro has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to serving the residents of Zephyrhills by willingly offering his time, equipment, and expertise to assist those in need. And whereas when an elderly resident was unable to remove a large tree limb that had fallen on her property, Mr. Castro responded without hesitation, personally inspecting the situation and providing the necessary labor and equipment to remove the hazard at no cost to the homeowner. And whereas this act of kindness reflects the spirit of volunteerism and community service that helps make Zephyrhills a caring, compassionate place to call home. And whereas this is not an isolated incident, isolated act of generosity, as Mr. Castro has repeatedly donated his company's resources and services to assist residents within our community whenever the need has arisen. And now, therefore, I, Melanie Barr Monson, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of Zephyrhills, do hereby recognize and commend Rocky Castro for his outstanding generosity, volunteer spirit, and dedication to serving the citizens of the city of Zephyrhills. His willingness to help neighbors in need exemplifies the very best of our community and serves as an inspiration to all of us.
Thank you. Congratulations. The next item under the mayor's report is an update on education in Pasco County. And representing Dr. Legg is Dr. Kuhn and Dr. Isles from the district office.
Good evening, and thank you so much for having us here this evening. We do appreciate it. Additionally, we feel that it's important that as a school district that we work with the city on supporting your schools and that we have a relationship. We do believe that stronger schools create stronger communities. And I will say that specifically your council has done a lot to support our schools, and we do appreciate it. This evening, we would like to give you an update on the academic achievement of the schools in the Zephyrhills City. We'd also like to talk to you about the investment we're making into Zephyrhills schools, as well as discuss the enrollment and also talk about the referendum renewal as well. For academic achievement overall, we have West Zeph Elementary School, Woodland Elementary School, Stewart Middle School, and Zephyrhills High School. I am going to just give you some percentages as far as the increases that have incurred with those schools over this past school year. And so West Zeph Elementary School, last year, it actually was under BSI status, under state review, and there was a lot of support that was being poured into that school. I am pleased to state that they did raise from a D to a C, and they went from a percentage of 35% to 48% overall in the different cell areas that they're measured in. Additionally, for Woodland, over the past several years, they have gone to in the mid-30s into 47% at a C level. And then Stewart Middle School did increase from last year to this year from a 48% to a 55%. And then Zephyrhills High School went from a 50 to a 55. So overall, all of the Zephyrhills schools have a C rating presently. That being stated, I'm giving you an overall school grade rate. I do want you to know that across the board in those schools, they did see improvements in English language arts, math, science, and social studies. We only had 2 schools in the math area that actually saw a small decline overall. For the district for Pasco County Schools for last year, if you didn't hear about it, we are an A-rated district. It's the first time since 2008. We have 17 A-rated schools, 7 B-rated schools, and we are looking to add Zephyrhills schools as well to that list. And additionally, we did eliminate all D and F schools last year as well. So as we look at our schools as a whole, and we look at the fact that we have 67 districts in the state of Florida, we did go from the 39th percentile from last year to the 25th percentile this year in the state of Florida. Our goal is to be a top performing district. And I would like at this point to turn it over to Mrs. Kuhn, who will talk to you about the other topics.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I think the last time I was here talking with you is about the Penny for Pasco. So I'll start by talking about some of the projects that we have here in Zephyrhills that have been funded by Penny for Pasco. And I'm sure you remember Woodland Elementary that was done in 2018. That was a Penny project. Of course, Zephyrhills High School, a Penny project, a multi-year phase construction. We also have at Woodland Elementary a pod wall project. For those of you who aren't familiar with that, many of our schools were designed with very open spaces. At the time, that was considered to be the best practice in education, but we found over time it's also very loud and very distracting. And so one project that Dr. Legg took on when he came in was to put up some walls just to create distraction-free learning environments. And so that is something that took place at Woodland Elementary in 2025. And then, of course, we have the very exciting project of West Zephyrhills Elementary School that just completed. And we were very excited about that, and we'll be talking about dedication of that with you all very soon. Also want to share a little bit about enrollment. Overall, as a district, and people are always very surprised to hear that enrollment is down. They think, I'm driving around, particularly in East Pasco over here, where you think, how in the world could enrollment be down? On the west side of Pasco County, it is certainly more of an issue than it is here, where we do have some growth. And we're building 2 new schools that are coming in the Wesley Chapel area, Two Rivers K-8, and also high school, we call it Triple O right now until it is named, over in the Meadow Point Wesley Chapel area. So we do have those 2 new schools here, but overall as a district, enrollment is down. And so I wanted to give you a little bit of information about the schools here in Zephyrhills. So in the elementary schools, looks to be some growth, about 29 students for both schools. Stewart Middle is looking to be about 24 students up. Zephyrhills High is projected to lose 32 students, and then so the net is positive 21. So that is what we're looking at over here compared to the west side of the county, where we have some of our schools that are in significant declining enrollment. Part of that is because of the birth rate. That our kindergarten class is very low. It's projected to be low, and it is turning out maybe to be even a little lower than that. There are other reasons as well, but that is one reason that we wanted to highlight for you today, that the birth rate is part of the reason why you see some of those numbers declining. Additionally, I'd like to take a few minutes to talk to you about another ballot initiative that we have that will be on the ballot this November. It is the salary referendum renewal. And so in 2022, Pasco County Schools asked the voters to invest in education in our community, and they definitely responded to that and made an investment in our community in improving our teacher and staff pay. And so what we're looking for with this renewal is to protect that investment, to make sure that Pasco's teachers and staff are competitive with other counties. We have all of our neighboring counties, with the exception of Polk, have a referendum in place. So they have that supplemental pay for their teachers and staff. And Polk County has it on the ballot this year. So I know over here, that will definitely be something to look at over in East Pasco. Part of what we look at when we look at the referendum is how we made a difference. And so of course, we're very, very proud of that school district and the improvement that we made in our schools, and believe that that is a result of what we've seen with the referendum. Another thing is that also we have reduced vacancies drastically. So when we look at 2022, before the referendum passed, on the first day of school, we had 314 teacher vacancies, classroom teacher vacancies. Last year we had 55, and we're looking to beat that this year. We'll know for sure on Thursday if we did, but we're looking to beat that number. We've also seen some of those improvements on the non-instructional side as well. An example of that is with custodial staff. Back in 2022, we had 80 vacancies. So that's pretty significant, at least 1 per school, but we had some where it was more than that. Now we're looking around 15 vacancies. It was last school year, and even better this school year. So we definitely have seen an improvement with our vacancies and our numbers there. But even more importantly, we're able to hire the quality staff, people who want to be working with our students, and those very talented teachers and staff who we want to not only recruit to Pasco, but to retain in Pasco. When we look at the impact of what the referendum has made, it's important to say the negative side of it too, and that is that if it did not pass, our teacher and staff would take about a 12% pay reduction. So it is certainly a significant. I listened to your budget workshop, and you know how important competitive pay is, and so that is of course a concern for us, is that if our staff had to take that kind of a pay reduction. So we're looking to continue that. It is on the ballot in November. So we wanted to make sure that you had the most updated information on that, and then also on where we are with enrollment and all of our different facilities projects. Thank you very much for your time and for having us. We appreciate your support.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for coming over, and Dr. Isles as well. And thank you for the investment you put into our community. West Elementary is unbelievably
spectacular, isn't it?
Spectacular. And you know, when you see where it's been and where it is, it's really an improvement. So thank you very much. And
thank you.
We appreciate your time. And Lorenzo, it's good to see you as well.
I got to be there, I think, the second day of school, and to see the kids just looking around.
Oh,
Like,
I
this is
bet,
our
yeah.
school compared to what it building looked like was pretty neat.
Well, that says a lot about your trust in our community, so we appreciate it.
You're very supportive, so thank you.
Anyone else?
I do have one question are you able to talk about the utilization of the green roof building at West and what the plans are for that?
Yeah, so right now we have different plans for that. We have a transportation bus garage that's right there. They're looking for some space. We have some classroom space because we are doing a renovation, if you will, but it is not like completely gutting the building. It's an investment, but not completely overhauling the building. So we definitely have some room in that building. We are looking to do some community resources there. There's been some discussion with the health department about going in there. We're certainly open to working with the city on that and would love to, if you have a need for some meeting space or any needs that you have. It is the community's building and we want it to be a place that is used. So would love to have more conversation. That should be completed in the summer. So a year from now is when that building will be ready to go. So just keep us in mind and we'd love to have more conversation.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor, back to you.
Okay. So the satisfaction survey, who's talking to that point? Okay, there you go, Kevin.
Is
Perfect.
David
Sorry.
here tonight, or-
He is not, because his internship has ended and he's over in Newport Richie, so he's got a lot going on right now.
Okay.
But I'll just, so Kevin Weiss, Public Information Officer for the City of Zephyrhills. David Brownell is the former intern that facilitated and developed a citizen, or I should say satisfaction survey that ran several weeks ago. And he did much of the legwork on it. And there were a lot of comments and responses, and I will note that the sanitation division got high marks, the water division got high marks, library got really high marks, and beyond, the rankings, I think what we found to be most valuable was the open-ended comments and responses. What do people want to see in the future in Zephyrhills? And the presentation and packet that he put together is there's a lot there. So, but I think just kind of looking through some of the comments and what people had to say, good, bad, or otherwise, is pretty important. But got a lot of positive feedback, and he worked very hard on it as an unpaid intern from USF. So.
Well, I took a page and a half of notes and
Yeah.
was gonna talk to him about it, but if he's not
Yeah.
here, but I thought it was very well organized, very well written. I thought he had very sharp analysis and was able to touch on the issues that were brought up. I found that the citizens were very clear on specific issues: growth, transportation, and residential development. I also, and I think some of the things we know, but
right.
We recognize that residents don't differentiate really between city and county, where the city limits are. They view it as a community. So when they were talking about issues that are outside our jurisdiction, I think we still need to look at them. And we have talked, I mean, we've met, a big problem he found was the south side of the city, South
Right.
Sea Avenue, where we're talking about that gateway project. Dirt roads, we know we don't have any, 1/2 block maybe of 8th Street, but, and I think they gave us a lot of good ideas.
Yeah, and I think that was ultimately the goal was, hey, we want to hear your ideas. What are your thoughts on, whether it's pie in the sky or something that's a little bit more realistic? And
Right.
something that, just to interject on what David did as part of the survey was he did include maps of the city limits and roadway jurisdiction.
Right.
So whether people clicked on those links or just glided past them, that's up to them. But at least we try to give some educational information as part of that survey as well.
Right. And I think sometimes it's just a matter of, okay, somebody's going to listen to me. I'm going to tell them what I think about these certain issues. The other thing I found really positive is that they talked about some of the things we're doing. They talked about some park improvement. They told us not to go grandiose on Zephyr Park, which I'm beginning to agree with more and more. They talked about turn lanes, which we're doing. They talked about let's see, they supported the moratorium overwhelmingly.
Yeah.
they are really unhappy with the pace of growth. And that was, I just don't know how we resolve some of that. They also, anyway, I just thought a lot of the comments were measured with a good understanding of what's going on in the community. They
Yeah.
talked about sidewalks.
And there were some good comments about city staff as well and
Right,
how
they-
the responsiveness
yeah,
and being professional and all that.
responsiveness of the utility department, of utility billing, sanitation, the library was the highest. They also seemed, I was surprised really at the number of homeless references, because it seemed like it, to some people, it was a bigger problem than it is here, although we have CHIPS now and a homeless unit at the police department. But what was especially surprising was they were supportive of doing housing for homeless, mental health services, and supporting CHIPS efforts. So I think that, a lot of it was really positive. There was a lot of things where there's mixed opinions. I mean, some people love the chickens and some people hate the chickens, and the chickens made it in here. But anyway, I just thought it was excellent.
And I think it highlighted some of
Exercise for
our
us.
recent wins as far as people being happy about Hercules Park and the new playground equipment. There might have been a comment or two about the 65-gallon recycling bins that we recently rolled out. So, or at least there's some good things in there as well. And if you want offline, I can share you David's USF email if you want to reach out to him, or I can give you his
That'd be great.
contact and he'd be happy to talk to
There
you.
was one comment, they said replace city council, so I thought
I don't know who that could have been. They might not
They
even
know
be
how
city
to do
residents.
that.
So,
So I just thought it was wrong.
yeah.
And I was reading it and I said to my wife, one of their comments is replace city council, and she said, not you.
And that
I said,
person,
yeah, all of us.
I mean, that person very well might not even live in the city. So we do
Right.
have the addresses of who,
And, we're not
made
going
the
to go
comment.
after them or anything, but, and they did talk about, issues with Morris Bridge Road, which obviously.
Right, that's way in
so
West
that
of
was some of
Chapel.
the misunderstanding, but
Correct.
generally speaking, I thought it was really positive, well presented, and gives us a lot to think about.
Yeah, he really worked hard and
Yeah,
he
so
used,
send us his email.
yeah, I'll send you his email and you can link up if you want.
All right,
So
thank
thank
you
you.
very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, our next item is the liaison to the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Commission. I think we'll maintain a motion for that.
Okay, first I'd like to say I went to the Regional Planning Commission.
Yes.
Today,
Yes,
and they voted unanimously to accept our membership.
perfect.
Rodney came with me. Their planning director is going to be the city liaison. And Rodney had already invited her to the last month's planning commission.
Good.
So she's already immersed herself a little bit into it. They gave us a certificate, which I'll give to Ricardo. And we're the 30th member.
30th.
City,
Okay.
member. So I thought it was a very positive exercise. And like I said earlier, they had a presentation on data centers. They talked about drainage. I mean, everything that impacts us was brought up. And I think it'll be a real benefit to us in the future.
I agree. When I was at the chamber, we worked with them on many things, and they were always a good supportive tool. So I think it will really be a good impactful thing for us here at the city.
Okay.
So,
And I did ask to be the council liaison.
okay.
We need a motion.
Yes.
Move that Dr. Senior becomes the council liaison of the Zoning. Councilman Spina to be the, I'd like to nominate him to be the liaison for the Tampa Bay Regional Planning Commission.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to name me as the liaison. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No. Motion carries. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Steve. And thanks for your willingness to do that.
Yeah.
Because like, I think it really is going to help us immensely. So, all right, my last
And then we
thing.
were going to talk about the Metropolitan Planning MTO.
Oh, that alternate. Okay, yes,
Did you want-
yes.
I think you got wrapped right up into that too. It says,
Yeah.
it says and MPO alternate.
and,
Oh, okay.
and MPO. It
Okay,
says
well, I
an
was doing
and.
it before, so I
Yeah.
don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay,
No, it goes
okay.
hand in hand anyway.
All right.
okay.
Is that a motion?
Uh,
Or is that
I think
all?
that's
in the-
part of the
oh,
same.
That's all
okay.
in the, it's all in one.
Never mind.
So you get to do two,
All right,
James.
sorry,
Okay,
never mind.
perfect. Thank you.
Just did
Um,
something.
Yeah, you did.
Appreciate it. My last thing is the city manager evaluation, and I really want to thank everybody for their patience with me. I know we're a month late on this, but it's not like it's earth-shattering information or anything. But you'll see in front of you, the overall average was 3.4, and you see the individual evaluations, how they came in. And I just wanted to thank each one of you for taking the time to do that and very intent, give great input on it too, because I think the input will be helpful for sure. So if there's any questions, please let me know, but otherwise you have it in front of you, and then I would encourage you to meet with Billy and personally, and I will meet with him too. I unfortunately didn't get to before this meeting, but we'll sit down and talk a little bit more intensely. But we appreciate him, the work that he's doing. We know that being a city manager is not an easy job, and there's a lot of moving pieces to this, and I feel like we have a good relationship with him and that he's doing a good job for us. So thank you, Billy.
Thank you. I'll review the comments and then meet with you.
Well, I met with you earlier, but
Great.
I'll meet with you again if you'd like.
If you'd
Mr.
like.
President, and I just want to say something. It's very difficult I mean, it's a hard thing, and I appreciate what you do. I meant to meet with you. I did not, but I will. And it's by no means critical. It's just a discussion between us. You tell me how I can be a council person too. It's a
Absolutely.
two-way street. So thank you for what you do.
Absolutely. Thank you. If there's any other comments? Nope. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you. Next item is the consent agenda. We have 7 items. I have one question on one. Can I just ask a question or do I have to pull it? Okay, I'd like to pull 1.5, the city maintenance complex change order. Do we have a motion to pull?
I make a motion that we pull item 1.5.
Second. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, do we have a motion? Does anyone else want to pull anything?
Your mic.
Could I pull item 3, please?
Okay. We have a motion.
I make a motion that we
So
pull
moved.
item 3.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to pull item 3. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, do we want to approve the consent items 1, 2, 4, 6, and 7?
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Item 1.3, BRW construction agreement.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Councilman
Mr. President. I had this pulled because I wanted to find out where we were with the connection from Cossack to Cossack Red Wire.
Oh, so I think a couple of council members reached out to Commissioner Oakley, and we got a response back that the contractor is working on a punch list. I reached out to the contractor to representative of Metro Development, and they said that they had a request. They put a request in to Pasco County on the 30th for a final inspection, and they've not heard back from Pasco. So I'll forward that to you all to ask Pasco to come back out. I know one other thing is the final plat, and believe all the information or most of the information has been submitted to us. So we're working on getting that plat, because that was one of the comments that was in the email. That is still a private road. And so once that plat is recorded, it'll become a county road. So road is complete to my knowledge. The inspections there was two, the planning department and traffic operations from Pasco County needs to do an inspection. They both had a punch list. According to the contractor, the punch list has been completed and they've asked for a reinspection. So I will follow up on that tomorrow. That was today's email at about 3:30. Anthony from Metro gave me that update. So I will forward that to you tomorrow. And I keep saying it should be open in the next week, but at some point I'm going to be right. But it's back and forth between the contractor and the county.
Agreement with Iran.
Yeah, exactly.
And my fear, I mean, I just don't want the same exercise on these. You know, I don't want the things to be shut down and we're waiting on some inspection or some Duke power that got missed. I'm very fearful about that because these intersections are used a lot. So do y'all have confidence that they're going to get in here and not cause the same issue on these?
I have confidence that we will. BRW for the city has done 6th Ave extension, or excuse me, the South Ave extension. They've done both phases of Simons Road and they did all the sidewalks. They were very responsive to any issues that we had. And they completed things on time, on
Did they
budget.
do the 301 traffic
They
signals?
did the traffic signal.
So that makes me feel a little better about their ability to have traffic control. Because these two intersections are a lot different than Cossack Extension or Simons.
Right. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a MOT specialist, but my recommendation would be that Green Slope and Daughtry are closed.
Yeah.
That road gets closed there at Medical Arts Drive, I think it is. Do the construction and open it back up.
I think you're right.
And it's not, let's not try to maintain traffic through there. I think it would be a nightmare.
Possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And should go faster that way too.
Yeah.
The other one's totally different.
Correct. Yeah.
But okay. Well,
But I do feel comfortable that, our relationship, the city's relationship with BRW has been very good. And so I'm not concerned with the job that they're going to do for us.
Again, please let them know there's concern here.
Yep.
And I would move the approval of this item.
Second.
Mr. President.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve 1.3. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 1.5, I had a question about the adding roof and paint of the exposed steel. There's a couple things in like the budget too that talk about repair of existing buildings. I just didn't understand with all the work that's going on out there, what did this specifically entail?
Shane LeBlanc, Public Works Director. I think I can kind of summarize that for you. We're building new buildings at the city yard and we're also renovating existing buildings. So we have a couple of pre-engineered metal buildings, steel buildings that have existing roofs on them that are in poor condition. When the design group did the initial design, we were just going to add on to these buildings with a new roof. But once we started getting into the construction, we're like, let's go ahead and replace all the roofs at the same time, have them all on the same life cycle. Some of the roofs, City Manager Poe was out with us one day. We have some holes in the roof where they leak. So this is basically coming out of buyout savings and owner contingency. So it's not going to change the contract amount or the GMP, but we're going to have all brand new metal roofs on all of the buildings out there.
And those are buildings that are staying. They're not part of the going to be torn down in later phases.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you. You answered my question. Thank you.
Okay. Thank
We
you.
have a motion to approve this.
So move.
Second.
Second?
Motion is second to approve item 1.5. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay, public hearing. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. President. Business item 2.1 is the first reading of ordinance number 1526-26, ordinance of the City Council of the City of Zephyrhills, Florida, amending the City of Zephyrhills Land Development Code amending Part 11.01.00 procedures for obtaining development permits, including Section 11.01.03 completeness review and Section 11.01.04 review and decision, amending Part 11.03.00 subdivision review, including Section 11.03.04 final record plat required and Section 11.03.04.03 approval procedure, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this is a public hearing. I'm going to open the public hearing. Anybody signed up to speak?
No, sir.
Okay. Council members have any? Well, you want to give us a little presentation.
Good evening, council. Will McCoss, City of Zephyrhills Planning Department.
Can I just interrupt real quick? He's a planner. Of course he wants to give a presentation.
Listen, I am perfectly fine with this getting approved with me without saying a word. I just wanted to give everyone here an update for this ordinance update. It is simply bringing us into standard with state legislation. There is nothing outside of that is being done here. It just has to do with our review of any development order permits that are submitted. And it moves final plats from being reviewed by city council to being administratively approved.
And it shortens the time of approval.
Correct.
And this is just more of the legislature meddling in our business.
Correct.
But
Providing us direction.
providing us direction, right?
Yeah.
Appreciate. No, okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any comments or questions? Okay. Close the public hearing.
Move for approval of ordinance number 1526-26 on the first reading.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 152626 on its first reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Second,
Yeah.
2.2.
Business item 2.2 is the first reading of ordinance number 1527-26, ordinance of the City Council of Zephyrhills, Florida, amending section 51.23 of the City Code of Ordinances, repealing and replacing the schedule of rates and charges for the use of availability and the use of potable water, wastewater, and reclaimed water effective on or after October 1st, 2026, providing for repeal or severability and effective date.
Thank you. Excuse me. This is a public hearing. Do we have any?
No, sir.
Okay, Ted, you'd like to?
Ted Beeson, Finance Director for the city. Before you is the ordinance that would go ahead and increase our water and sewer rates by 3%. We've done this for the past 2 years following the Reptilis study. The staff fully recommends the fact that we keep on pace with the 3% increases. It helps us fund our $4 million in personnel costs, $4.5 million in operating costs, $2.1 million for the debt service, and $11 million in capital expenditures. Water and sewer is very capital intensive. We're not able to do those projects that are on the screen without going ahead and asking you to go ahead and keep pace with what we've put forward. In addition to that, on the second page of your agenda memo, it talks about going ahead and increasing the water base rates and the sewer base rates on RV parks that had a lower than average cost for their base rates. I would point out to you that each one of you pays about $30 in base rates between your sewer rates and your water base rates. At the Emerald Point, their base rates were roughly around $2.55 because the rate was based on the size of the meter, not the number of occupants in the RV park. And that's similar with Water's Edge and the other two RV parks that are mentioned there. This will not be an easy sell because next council meeting, we'll put out some letters to those residents and we'll, to their board, and we'll let them know what's going to take place. But it really does feel a great inequity. We don't think it's right or proper that RV parks, mobile home parks are just charged really differently. We think we close that up. So 3% rate increases for water and sewer, and then kind of filling a hole with the RV parks. Today is pleasant. Next week or next council meeting, perhaps we'll have a lot more residents here.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if they had been notified, so not yet.
They have, everybody's notified because it was on their utility bill.
Oh,
I haven't pointed it out to them yet, and I will point it out to them.
all right. All right.
And just in preparation for the storm of phone calls that are coming, what are you proposing in terms of, is it an immediate base rate from $2.55 to $35 a person, or a homestead, or how does this work?
Yeah, that they would go ahead, those RV parks, 3 of those RV parks are going to go ahead and be treated just like any other RV park. So their rates would go to whatever the base rates are designed. With Emerald Point, they do have the statistical data that says that during their summer months, they're less than 50% occupied. So we will allow them to go ahead and use that averaging that's laid out into the ordinance. So rather than having the full hit with Emerald Point, they'll have like a 2/3 hit that will take place. But with Water's Edge, they'll just join the rest of the RV parks at that rate. If you wanted to stage it in and say like, well, not effective October 1st, but all right, you'll have a year to do so, that's your prerogative. But everybody else, the other mobile home communities we have, the other RV parks are already paying these rates.
They were paying like a lump payment, and the other ones pay it on the individual lots numbers. Is that correct?
No, other mobile home parks that are master metered, go ahead and pay that base rate on right up front, just like we're asking them to do as well. But they, for a number of years, have not had this rate put to them. Now with Emerald Point, I've signaled very strongly 3 years ago that I didn't think that this was going to stand. And they've had a chance to kind of build up their reserves. They're not going to like it still.
Right.
But we're doing that. With both Emerald Point, we're going to give them a chance to say, based on what we think your water use, that's what we're going to dictate your base rates, meaning the occupancy that you have during the summer months. Then we're going to go ahead and say winter, summer, we're going to average it together. I think it's very fair. That also takes place with Sleepy Hollow 2 subdivision, or that they're going to face the same sort of rate, but they already have a system where their water is kind of choked down during the summer, so only 10 units are served. And this change barely impacts their water and sewer rates whatsoever on those base rates.
Okay.
Mr. President, and just so I understand, so a single family pays how much, or just like our
Approximately
house?
$3,500.
Roughly, you pay
Roughly $35.
roughly $30 between your sewer base rates and your water base rates.
Oh.
So $24 for your sewer base rate, $6 for your water base rate.
And just for example, a lady is a Canadian that lives down from me, she leaves, she still pays the $30, her base rate every month, regardless of use.
If she chooses to use her water, leave her water on, then she will. Some of our residents just leave
They turn it
their
on.
irrigation on, and that way they just have one meter that's having the base rate go through it at that time.
Okay, so, but with a master meter, they have to leave it on, obviously, because they don't know who's coming and who's going.
That's correct. And what we're trying to do with Emerald Point is to say, based on your total water consumption for the year, we know what's happening during the winter months. We're going to multiply that times 4 and take your overall water consumption. That's going to be in the numerator. Now we've correctly identified what we think your capacity is for the year. The fairest way to do that.
Right, and I think you're right. This is like something's dredging out from here that wasn't very pleasant during when we were talking about those.
Well, it's been
Remember
brought up
that?
before, yeah.
Yeah, we've had this issue before, but you know what? The water is available for them whether they're here or not, right? I mean,
And we're fixing the manholes and we're doing the backflow preventers and we're doing all the stuff that
correct.
it takes to
The transmission
manage those
lines, the water plant.
But what I'm hearing is that $2.55 may not go up to $35. It could go up to $15 because it's an average of their usage throughout the year.
I can tell you precisely.
Okay, and am I surprised by that?
I need
No.
to flip the page, I'm sorry. Okay, so the water base rate for an RV park would be $3.12. And then the sewer base rate for an RV park is $12. So those two together,
So
they're not going to
$15.
$30, they're going to what the RV park would have.
Yeah.
Which is
I
still.
think that's
deal.
only
Yeah,
fair.
still a
Still,
deal.
Only fair.
Okay.
Still less than what the single family residents pay.
Mhm.
And yes, it's quite a deal.
All right, now, that's those, you're talking about the base rates and the change to the RV parks. That's both part of the ordinance.
I'm sorry, say it again, sir.
The two items, the rate increase and the change to the RV billing is part of that ordinance.
That's
They're both-
correct. Yes, sir.
So one motion.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other comments or do we have a motion then?
Move approval of this
Oh,
item.
wait. I got it.
I think you closed.
Did I close it? Okay.
Move approval, Mr. President.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay, sanitation rates.
Next item we have is business item 2.3, first reading ordinance number 1528-26, ordinance of the City Council of the City of Zephyrhills repealing and replacing section 50.40 of the Zephyrhills City Code to update the rates and charges established for the City of Zephyrhills Sanitation Division of the Public Works Department, providing for severability and an effective date.
All right, thank you. I'm going to open the public hearing. Ricardo, anybody?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Council? I have a question. In the memo recommending approval, it talks about providing retiree health and benefits to current and future retiree, which stands at $622,000.
That's a Ted question.
What's referred to as OPEB, other post-employment benefits. So retiree health is what the City of Zephyrhills provides. It is exceptional. It is a nice retiree health that we're able to provide. Other cities, say for instance, Plant City or Temple Terrace, they're out of the retiree health. They will provide you health care till age 65, but beyond that, they're not providing that.
Well, I thought we did that, but they go to Medicare after 65. But we have a Medicare plan. I
Correct.
guess?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah,
But
that's
we're
not a good
still,
idea.
we're still in the game. We're still providing healthcare after that age. Our actuaries take a look at that. They evaluate it. This year, CL Clifton Larson Allen suggested strongly that we go ahead and make that allocation over sanitation and water and sewer. So we made that allocation over to sanitation and water sewer. It's $600,000 of liability.
Just for sanitation?
$600,000 just for liability for sanitation. Numbers much larger for water and sewer.
I'm sure.
Putting that on books too, and then also for our governmental. So it's a big dollar item when we take a look at the total liability that we have to place there. Now, we are beginning to explore what we can do to go ahead and alter our plans so we kind of fall into line with what other governmental entities are doing.
Yeah, and I think I recommended that before, that when you turn 65, that you go to Medicare and in that approach, and we have to back out of it somehow because I think I had a note in the budget about how much that was.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I believe that we have gone ahead and taken a lot of our retirees and say, this is the plan we really recommend that you be on. And we kind of moved them over to the Medicare Advantage plan under Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Right,
And
yeah,
it
it's
has-
better than it was, but
And
it's
and it
still.
has substantially saved us.
Right.
But the actuaries are still on there, and Clifton Larson Allen's still saying, hey, we want you to book the full liability.
Okay, I just want to make sure that number was just that department.
Right, yes, sir.
It was shocking. Okay, Any other questions?
So what you were saying is that we should look to, once they reach 65, to go on their own Medicare plan or still?
Yes.
Okay. When I worked for the school board, that was like, to me, that was a great benefit that we had. Took me till my 65. I thought that was fantastic. But going beyond that is like really
Yeah.
doing a lot,
Yeah,
so.
that's
And
great.
we bridge from the time of retirement to age 65.
Right, and that's,
Continuing to go.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
no,
I
we
can
can't
see,
afford to do that.
I
It
can
was,
see where that's a huge number.
I had, which really has nothing to do with sanitation rates. I mean, it does, but, see, I don't understand this. In here, the, in group health retirees in HR budget is 300,000. That's just your department then?
That's
the retirees and well, I'll let HR answer.
But the sanitation would be 600.
Well,
OPEB is different than.
Oh, that's just the liability aspect out of, okay. But still, we're paying 300,000 then for retiree Medicare.
for the current fiscal year
Right,
to pay out.
right,
That doesn't say what we ultimately will pay out.
right. Okay,
Right.
this is the ultimate, and that was the exact.
300,000 is that yearly allocation that we make to pay for the retiree health.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, we got to look at that.
That's 300,000 for the general fund or for all retirees. All retirees. That's not just the 65. Yeah.
Right, well, we want it up to 65, but when you turn 65, you have that other alternative, everybody.
Right, we do have an option, which is a lot less expensive, which is the Medicare 65, but it's also the discussion on whether or not you want to continue the 50% for them, because that's what we currently pay. So that'll be a discussion
That's,
for you all to have, because it's really the contribution rates, and, you know, you get to decide that based on the policy.
Can
So
I add?
It's not that you can't, and I think there's obviously, there's a law or statute that states that we have to offer it, but it doesn't mean you have to pay 50%, because you
Right.
can change that.
right,
So that therefore would change the OPEB.
and they can go to another Advantage plan that costs them not except the Medicare payment out of their Social Security, which I happen to know for a fact, because that's what I do.
Right,
So-
right now we offer it as an option, but we're still paying that 50%. You can zero it out, still offer the Medicare option that we provide. You just wouldn't be contributing anything to that.
Right,
But you still by law have to offer it. to
right,
them.
well, we
It
can
just
offer it,
depends on
but
what you-
I don't know that we should subsidize it.
Correct.
Is there a way to kind of phase it in? Because if you had an employee who's been here 25 years and he knows that was coming, I mean, I
Right,
hate
was
to,
counting on that, yeah.
take that away from somebody who's been here and put a whole career in the city under the understanding that was going to happen. Is there a way to phase it in like,
You can say as of 10/1 of next year, this is, you know, anybody new coming in, or you can
Yeah.
say after amount of years of continuous service.
well, that's the other thing is like a certain amount of years of service or something like that.
But the
Okay.
Medicare, I'm not talking about taking it from somebody who's not eligible for Medicare. I'm talking about Medicare, 65 years old, and they can go to another plan
Right.
that everybody else in the country's on.
Well, I do understand. I
I
was
mean,
just
I'm
looking,
just saying-
yeah, I was just looking as a part of it, somebody working for the city for a long time and knew that was something that was
I worked for the
coming to
city
them,
for
yeah.
a long time, I didn't get it.
Can
I just went to Medicare.
can we go to sanitation rates and then circle back to healthcare,
Yeah,
please?
yeah, squirrel.
We could talk about healthcare all night, but let's
Okay,
wrap
all
up
right,
sanitation
I'm sorry,
rates
all
first.
right. I didn't understand that number, so, okay. Any other questions?
No.
And this is a long time coming. This has had our rates. You show in the schedule, in the packet, how low really our rates are compared to others in the area.
And we do have a presentation from you from our outside consultant.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, Shane LeBlanc, Public Works Director. We have our consultant
wanna
on the
see it.
phone from Kessler Consulting, Peter Engel. Peter, can you hear me?
Oh,
Yes, I can, Shane. Thank you.
Can you jump in there and give the council and mayor a presentation?
By all means, thank you very much. I'll try to be brief, and certainly in this discussion, we'll touch on this preceding discussion because it certainly has some impact on the on the finances and the sanitation fund. So anyway, thank you for this opportunity to present the results of the solid waste study that KCI conducted for this city. I also want to thank city staff for their assistance throughout the project, providing information, reviewing results, and providing insights as we developed operational and financial projections and rate scenarios to maintain the quality and level of service provided to city residents and businesses. Next slide, please. So just a review of our agenda here. I'll be covering 4 items here: overview of the current services, a comparison of the current rates to several peer communities, and a summary of historical and projected financial performance of the sanitation fund, and then a description of a proposed rate scenario to meet the city's reserve policy target of about 25%. We'll wrap it up with time for council questions, comments, and any input. Next slide, please. And you'll need to click a few, so just go ahead and click them, and I'll let you know. Click twice more, please. And thank you. So Zephyrhills is the exclusive provider of residential and commercial waste collection in the city. The automated trash collection service is provided to approximately 9,500 residents and small businesses. That's that residential and commercial cart service. And that service is bundled with recycling service, which is, as many of you are aware, switched to an automated recycling cart in 2026. That went from a bin to recycling cart, which increases the amount of recycling capacity that residents and small businesses have, as well as improving the collection efficiency of providing that service. The basic residential service also includes bulk yard waste and bulky waste collection up to 4 times per year within the existing rate structure. Commercial dumpsters, containers are served. That service provides collection to approximately 2,200 businesses and master meter accounts, and container sizes range from 2 to 8 yards. There's a collection frequency that those customers can choose. Both their container size as well as the frequency, anywhere from 2 to 5 times per week. There's also a limited but growing number of roll-off and compactor services that are provided at this point, 20 to 40 yard cubic yard containers. Next slide, please. The second item that I mentioned here is a comparison of the rates that are currently charged to the customers in Zephyrhills to some surrounding peer communities. But before I do that, it's really important to understand that before making any comparison between communities, all waste is local. There's no 2 communities that are alike. There can be differences in what services are provided, the collection frequency, collection of the method of collection, and other variables. And if you click again, you'll just see this range of variables that impact this. Give it another click on the slide, please. There you go. So yeah, size, demographics, customer base, funding methods, all of these are different things that can impact. The bottom line you have to understand here is rates do not directly reflect the actual cost to provide the service. So, and it's also rarely one can make a direct comparison between the rates of one community to another. So with that cautionary note, we can move on to the next slide, please. And click, please. Here's how Zephyrhills residential rates compare to some surrounding communities. As you can see, it's really at the low end here. Now, as I noted previously, there's differences in the level of service, as in the collection frequency, the type of services that are provided in the different communities. But with that just at face value, Zephyrhills rates are lower than other nearby communities. Just briefly, some quick notes. Brookville provides has a higher rate for a comparable level of service. Dade City's rates has a higher level of service for comparable rates, but that's not necessarily the actual cost, and it may indeed be subsidized by the commercial rates that are charged. And Dade City is different than these other communities in the sense that it has a private contractor who sets the rates that it charges to the commercial customers in the city. Plant City and Temple Terrace have significantly higher rates, and they also offer a slightly higher level of service. So moving on to the next slide, please. Zephyrhills is low on the, and commercial rates are pretty much, this is the cost per cubic yard per month of service. So it's $4.40 per cubic yard per month. And so you multiply that by your container size, collection of frequency, and that's the rate that's charged. Zephyrhills rates are lower than these other peer communities. You'll note that Dade City's commercial rate is not on the chart here because it's privatized, and those rates are not set by the city, but independently between the hauler and the customer. Next slide, please. And there we go. And click a couple more times. I think once, maybe twice. I'm sorry, I had all these clicks in here if I was going to be driving the presentation. So this is there's a bunch of information here. The sanitation fund financial performance has changed dramatically in the past few years. FY22 to FY24, we're looking at the bar chart on the left-hand side here, and the green line is the annual revenue, the red line is the annual expenses, and that blue dotted line is a measure of the amount of unrestricted net fund balance as a percent of expenses. And that's generally a metric that is used to compare to a reserve policy target in the city. And so I'll be talking about those lines here for a little bit. So in FY22 to FY24, the fund maintained a strong year-end unrestricted fund balance. In FY24, the expenses began exceeding the revenues and began to draw down that unrestricted fund balance. You're seeing how that downward trajectory in the blue dotted line as the red exceeds the green. And this trend has continued since then. Now, in 25, there was a major restatement of OPEB obligations. And as I'm sure officials and staff are aware there, that had a significant impact in the audited financial report for FY25. It essentially wiped out the unrestricted net fund balance in the sanitation fund, leaving it with a negative balance of approximately $268,000. The numbers and the lines go a little bit out of trend, as I would say, in FY26, and that's because that was an anomalous year. The revenue and expenses both shot up over approximately $3.5 million a year for the construction and the sanitation share of the construction of the new public works complex. So if we just look at the trend lines here and we see the kind of essentially the gaps between the red and the green, you see that expenses are exceeding revenues on a consistent basis. And that's just the year-to-year kind of cash flow nature. What that's doing is that's reducing the unrestricted net fund balance. And based on KCI projections, we're estimating at the end of FY26 that negative unrestricted net fund balance or position will increase to over $900,000, or essentially minus 25% of expenses. That doesn't bode well for the long-term kind of financial health or durability of that fund. If we look at these pie charts on the right-hand side, the FY26 revenues and expenses, we note that revenues are almost entirely derived from sanitation charges that are paid by customers, while expenses are dominated by direct costs for operations and capital replacement. Those two kind of left-hand wedges of the pie, those are primarily associated with that capital project. So if you kind of look at the other half, or less than half of the pie, that gives you a sense of kind of the year-over-year sources of revenue and expenditure categories. So the other thing I would like to note here is that in performing solid waste studies over a number of years, it's been very rare when I've experienced a fund's starting position when we begin our projections as being negative. We're starting these projections from a negative 25% position in the net fund balance, unrestricted net fund balance. So it can be, that can be attributed to a wide, broader causes, the OPEB recalculation or restatement, but it still places the fund in a very challenging position with regard to maintaining a healthy reserve balance going forward. So looking at this, I as a consultant to the city of saying like, hey, you guys need to do a significant rate increase pretty much right off the bat in order to set the trajectory to reestablish financial health and security of the sanitation fund. Next slide, please. So with that kind of caveat put forward, we were working with city staff to establish a series of kind of key parameters for doing future year projections, and this is just a summary of those. I won't go into detail of them in particular, but they are just like nominal increases in your customer base and operating costs based on historical trends and projections in terms of CPI. We used a 2.5 general CPI for items that were reflected. S&B, by the way, I'm sorry, 5% per year. That's salary and benefits. 7% per year fleet is maintenance and repair, and 4% per year increase in the cost to purchase vehicles. Those are based on historical trends. I do want to note that 2.2 million for fleet replacement seems like a big number, but that's over 4 years. It really only represents about 1 to 2 vehicles a year to keep the fleet up to date. Next slide, please. So again, we ran a bunch of scenarios and had a kind of a dynamic and collaborative discussions with staff about how to address the financial future performance of the sanitation fund. And this is the proposed rate change that's being put forward for City Council consideration. In doing so here, and I'll just summarize here, that blue table at the top, it's a sizable increase in FY27, followed by a lesser increase in FY28, then in a CPI-based increase in future years. The baseline is just CPI only. So I just want to say here, just as background, we are working with city staff to find a balance between a wide range of factors, some of them kind of in opposition to each other. We were looking at the rates in the neighboring communities, and wanting to maintain and not reduce the current levels and quality of collection service. So one way to save costs is to reduce service, but we are making that underlying assumption that we're going to keep services as they are being provided now. Acknowledging the need to take immediate action to reverse a growing gap between expenses and revenues, and then ultimately balancing that financial impact on customers of a rate increase with the need to maintain a sufficient reserve to ensure the reliability and consistency of the services that are provided to them. So how do we, this chart at the bottom, there's this number of things going on. The bars at the bottom are the rate increases. So a 2.5 baseline and a 25% increase. Those are the bar charts across the bottom. So you see it's like 2 years of rate increases above CPI and then CPI in the following years. That red dotted line is the 25% city policy reserve target. The blue and the gray line are what would be that projected unrestricted reserve in the proposed and the baseline. Okay, so hopefully folks are following me here. And what I would observe from here and ask you to look at here is that 25% increase in FY27 would increase the projected unrestricted net fund balance from minus 37% to minus 18%. So it's still negative after 1 year of a 25%. A 5% bump in FY27 still leaves the fund with a projected negative of about 7.8% is what's, excuse me, I'm sorry, the number there, I'm not seeing it too well. It's 8.3, I believe, if I remember it correctly. The effort here is to, we're trying to bend a curve, and it's kind of like, it's not quite a battleship, okay, but it takes time once to reverse a downward trend line. It takes a couple of years of correction to kind of bend that one back upwards. So what we're projecting here was this proposed rate increase is that it returns the city to a positive unrestricted balance in FY29, that's at 7.8%, and then in FY29 FY30, you're not quite to the 25, but somewhere between FY30 and FY31, it gets back up to that 25% reserve target. So it's a takeaway from this projection. Depending on your future actual fund performance, and also noting this earlier discussions this evening regarding OPEB and actuarial calculations, et cetera, it may be possible to adjust some of those assumed CPI rate increases in outer years. However, significant action from my perspective as a consultant to the city is recommended on the early stage. So this is all percentages. Let's move on to the next slide, please. And click it again. What does this mean for the residential rates? For residential customers, the rate for FY27 beginning in October would be $3.38 per month higher than the baseline CPI rate increase. And Sean has been helped me understand that put this in kind of dollars and cents. That's about the cost of a large iced tea at Sonny's. And the proposed rate. Excuse me?
That was my line, Peter. I was waiting to use that one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I stole your thunder. I apologize. It just was too good. I couldn't resist. Proposed rates in subsequent years would be in the range of $3.94 to $4.23 per month higher than the CPI only baseline increase. And you're just seeing kind of those deltas there in numbers on the chart. If we move on to the next slide, and it shows, okay, what does this mean when we look at our peers? The $18.79 per month would be higher than Dade City, but still less than the other neighboring communities. We can move on.
Doesn't Dade City, they don't do their own sanitation, do they?
No, it's privatized collection.
It's privatized, so our quality is much better, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Can we wrap this up, sir?
I'm sorry, please. Yeah, I will. I'm sorry to go on for so long. We can just move on towards the end. And there's several slides here which we can quickly click through them.
Okay.
And these are the rate increases for the commercial. And again, the comparison is that your rates are going to be lower than comparable peers. And you can move on then. We can skip the next two slides, roll off rental charges, and move on next slide. And hit summary, please. So summary, at the end of the day, we can really boil it down to the rate scenario presented reestablishes a positive unrestricted fund balance by FY29 and a 25% target reserve by FY31.
Okay, thank you. And this has been the first rate increase in quite a few years. We haven't had one.
Well, the first rate study we've done in about 8 years, but we've relied on the CPI every year, but the CPI hasn't kept up with our expenses. So great job, Peter. I think you sold it to the council tonight.
Well, I just want to provide as much background as possible for this sort of significant rate increase. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, so did I close the public hearing? I don't think I did. All right, close the public hearing. Do we have any discussion from council?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve ordinance 1528-26 on its first reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Peter. Okay, thank you, Matt. Okay, city manager's report.
Kevin's going to educate you.
I'll make this brief.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
Yeah, you're welcome. There's only 3 slides and they'll be quick, I promise.
Okay.
And yeah, this isn't that much better.
Dave Henderson.
You can go to the next one. Okay, so property tax education, it was alluded to in the budget workshop, and just wanted to show a couple of things that we've done and some other things in progress. One is some building or project signage. So when we have, a project, capital improvement project like the train depot parking lot or stormwater improvement, Zephyr Park, we want to be able to put up these 4x8 signs that just show your tax dollars at work, more or less. You can go to the next one. I don't know, I sent this in the last media report, but Zephyrhills was actually featured in a New York Times article. We had a reporter from, well, he's actually based out of Atlanta, but works for the New York Times, and he came to Zephyrhills, spent a half day with us, met with Billy and I, and then we actually went to Pompano Coffee Shop and checked out one of the new developments and drove around town. He was really impressed with the town, and he was putting together his article and quoted some other people as well. But we got some media coverage out of that. And then if you want to go to the next slide. So now what we're kind of looking at is seeing what other communities are doing in terms of property tax education. So everything from a news release to FAQs to a web page. There's a lot of different ideas. Some cities are even doing town halls. I don't know if we want to get into that necessarily, but we're kind of scoping the resources out from Florida League of Cities and FCCMA to see what we want to kind of, I don't want to say copy, but utilize what some of these other cities and communities have done in terms of educating their communities about the importance of property taxes and what those dollars are actually utilized for. So that's pretty much all I wanted to bring up, was some of the things. There's been a lot in the media. Obviously, Zephyrhills was focused in the New York Times. There's been some other articles as well. And now we're looking at some of the resources from Florida League of Cities to see what we want to utilize going forward before the November election.
Thank you. I think we should do a flyer or something on the website or something to let people know what our taxes go to.
Yeah.
And how we're, a good steward of them. I think one of the things that I've seen that they talk about against the governments is saying that property taxes have gone up 38%. Property values have gone up 38% or something, but taxes have gone up 150% or something, So we got to try to counter that and show that, we've really done a job of holding things, level, I think.
And I think that's something that myself, the city manager and finance department can kind of work on that message and make sure it's factual and it's easy to read as well.
And I think those signs are a good idea. When we're doing those hot spots and things, we need to put those out there, let them know we're doing it and not somebody else doing it.
Yeah, we've got 5 of them, and the idea was to make them general enough where they're not project specific, because you use them once, for the train depot parking lot, then you can't reuse it. So we kind of kept it broad, and then, have information about our website, phone number, and so forth. So we have 5 of those that we can, pick and place wherever we want to.
Yeah, if we don't toot our horn, no one else is going to.
Exactly, and that's kind of the other thing, is sometimes we just have to toot our own horn a little bit, and that's why I'm here, I guess. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. But just wanted to show you that Florida League of Cities does have a lot of examples and resources, and I think something relatively simple that kind of gets the message across can hopefully get some people thinking.
Could we put it in the utility bill?
Yeah.
Could we put a flyer in the utility bill? I mean, where Lakuchi does that all the time.
Before we do the rate increase.
Yeah.
The last time I got a survey and answered it, in my water bill got me where I am today.
Yeah.
Dr. Spino recruited me to be on the planning commission.
We may find somebody that's really interested in local government and wants to serve on a board and go from there. So,
and I think that's a great idea to do that. And I think also possibly what Nick Walton and their group is doing, without the funding, we're not going to be able to do this. From summer rec, we may not be able to do.
Yeah.
The library funding these are programs that are used and utilized by people. And I
These are the
used to,
quality of life issues that we
Exactly.
we need to talk about.
That's exactly
Quality of
right.
life here.
It's
and
it's
how
more than
we-
bricks and mortar. It's
Well, and it's more
programs.
than a nice park too. You know, it's
Correct.
really you know, that's more of a passive involvement, whereas the tennis center, that they're teaching leadership skills and they're teaching these kids how to play a lifelong sport.
Yeah. And like, for example, summer rec, I know, I mean, we have a wait list every year
Yeah.
and we actually, after the camp, asked parents what they thought and, they just love the fact that it's free and their kids are able to get exercise and make friends for 5 weeks out of the summer. So I think kind of, I don't want to say playing to the heartstrings, but emphasizing the
Well, yeah, but-
importance of those
But,
items.
those are the things that people in the survey said about a small town and that kind of a thing that you can still do and reach out and impact people.
Yes.
So,
Don't we also fund a swim program at the YMCA or have in the past? So, I mean,
Right.
well, and we fund the scholarship program there, which allows lower or moderate income people to get a sliding scale membership. I mean,
Right.
that's what that goes to,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we provide for scholarships. We don't pay for swim lessons.
you're right, but they can use them. I mean,
Right, but what we've
A
done with
membership.
summer rec,
Right.
kids that don't pass the Y swim test and to be able to swim during summer rec, they get a free voucher to come back to the Y for swim lessons. So that was
That's
something that was staff was able to work out.
but I mean, those are the things we do that kind of are a little, I
Yeah.
think we have to toot our own horn. Right.
So yeah, and I also wanted some feedback too. So we'll work on, getting that messaging out there a little bit. And I'm sure we can insert something into the water bills and
And maybe you can take some of the comments in that survey. Some of them were nasty.
yeah,
But some of them were really positive and say, fellow residents say this, or,
Mhm.
Appreciate that, or,
I like it.
or you asked for this and we're doing it.
Yeah. So I think we'll be able to put something together, but as it's getting closer, we need to kind of get on the ball with putting something out there. So. Yeah.
They're coming soon now.
Well, anyway, thank you all. So
Thank you.
appreciate
Kevin.
it.
Thank you. Okay. We're into the mayor's announcements.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
City manager, who goes next? City manager's announcement?
We need a couple things. We need to schedule a budget workshop. I don't know if we want to do that next meeting. Let's continue the trend.
I'd like to do it before the next
same
meeting.
thing.
But
Schedule it
like
now
the same
for
as
the
we
next
do now,
meeting.
like 4:30 or before 2 weeks.
No,
I just want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying.
I'll
Sorry.
be out of town next week.
Okay.
So I'd rather do it the council meeting, the next council.
The
meeting
24th. Okay.
At 4:30.
Okay. Everybody's good with that?
And can I ask you to give us a number for the 6% so we would know what that is? Is that all right with everybody? We have what 5 is, so then we'll know what 6. And we don't want to go to 7. I think that's a little.
I get it.
All right.
I get it.
But we can at least, and then you'll at least look at reducing that public relation money, whatever you called it in there.
Yep. We can do that. Florida League of Cities Conference is Wednesday through Saturday. So I will be at that. And then the packet that I gave you that have the questions, the letter we've been waiting for is the third packet in that paperclip. And it's the FAA approving our corrective action plan with conditions for Skydive City. So I talked with Nathan a little bit today, gave it to Matt this afternoon. So we'll talk about it tomorrow, finalize that plan and how exactly we're going to implement it, and then get with Skydive City, and hopefully we'll have our funding reinstated here shortly. So that's all I have.
And I have a question for you.
Mhm.
You gave, you responded to all my questions. This other who was the other council member?
Councilman Wolf.
Okay. Thank you. Just curious.
Yep.
Okay, city attorney's comments and announcements.
Nothing from me. Thank you.
Oh, come on, you got something. Okay. All right. Councilman Smith?
Melanie, it was great to see your grandkids here tonight. That was nice. But I just want to know, what did they do bad that you had to punish them to sit through 3/4 of a council meeting?
So it's my anniversary, our anniversary today, so they didn't want to leave me alone.
Well, how nice.
So
How nice.
They wanted to come be with me even though we couldn't be together.
Well, that's
So
nice. It was great seeing them. They even made it longer than
I
25-year
kept
Councilman
texting them going,
Bracknell.
you can
Bracknell
go
left
home
before they
now.
did.
You did your duty, but yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
last time.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
One year when I was city manager, Jordan wanted to come to the meeting. She must have been about 8. So I said, okay. She got all dressed up and she came. And she was sitting there, and after about 15 minutes, she came to the table and said, Poppy, can we call Mimi? Come get me. She had had enough.
That's all I had.
All right, thank you. Kenny?
I just had something that I was going to bring up at the budget workshop. And it goes to the, some of the stuff that we fund through the administration there, like the scholarships and the sports things. I think we have like 35,000. Last time we did something, you had mentioned maybe setting up like a committee. We talked a little bit, discussed about having a committee or some way of doing it where we're not just sort of like sitting right here and we have to say no or yes. Steve did something like this similar several years ago with the renaming of streets and buildings and things like that. So it's like we have a policy, and then you had mentioned something about, maybe participation in parades or volunteer opportunities down on Main Street or something like that to go in. I just think we need to, whenever we have those requests, it should go through some sort of committee, whatever, some sort of policy, like we do with the naming thing.
Yeah, just kind of a review of who.
Yeah, because that way we're not same people all the time and that kind of thing.
Okay, good
That's
idea.
all I have.
Good idea. Ms. Wilkerson?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Charlie?
Nothing.
Okay, thank you guys for being here and helping us out, for supporting us, all of you.
Work on this budget.
And and
For sure.
for the budget stuff, thank you very much. So good night.
Good job. Okay.
Right, but
I'm tired.
they get me.
Would you walk?
No, I got my gym with Teresa, so now we're doing yoga, strength training, like weights, upper body weights and all that. And then we walk 2 miles a day.
How do you like your new Toyota?
Honestly, Charlie, I don't like it that much.